Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome to day 2 of the British Swimming Championships 2022. My name's John Mason. I'm the host of Deep End Live, and I'm going to be here with you all week, guiding you through the action, whether you're at home or, of course, here in the arena. It has been wonderful having spectators back in after 2 years without them due to COVID. It's awesome. It's been an amazing atmosphere, and hopefully you've been enjoying the action at home. Tonight is set to be absolutely no different. We've got a pre-show down here in the studio in which we're going to be having a chat with Tom Dean, getting him to play the Chopstick Challenge. But before we get into that, before we get into the racing, we do have to sort out one little lane event. So we're going to have a little swim-off now for the women's 50-meter butterfly to decide a couple of placings in that priority Paris final and that junior final. So it's over to Andy and Alan. They're going to take it from here, and we'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, and we go straight into this swim-off. Lanes 4 and 5 for the women's 50 meters butterfly. And they're both swimming for a place in the priority Paris final for athletes born 2001 or younger. Chloe Harris will be in 4 of Royal Wolverhampton School, and in 5, Eleanor Morgan of the University of Stirling. Both great programs, I have to say. And they tied in the heats. They tied on this women's 50 meters butterfly. Their time's 28.24 seconds. 28.24. So the winner will go into lane 8 of the priority Paris final. Of course, 4 finals in every session, the A final and the B final for the fastest 16 swimmers, regardless of age. And then there's the priority Paris final for athletes 2001 born or later. And then the junior final. Harris in 4, and 1 lane up from us, her in 5 is Eleanor Morgan of University of Stirling. Well, 28.24 was the time that they set in the heats, and it looks like at the moment in lane number 5, Eleanor Morgan in that pink hat, gone really well down the first 25 meters. Morgan breathing, well, hardly at all. She took 1 breath about 25 meters, another one there about 35 meters, and she's going really well. She's got to spot the finish. It looks like Eleanor Morgan of the University of Stirling wins it. She does. The time, well, 27.62. They both went 28.24. So that's a good 0.6 of a second faster. 0.6 on a 50. So Eleanor Morgan of University of Stirling will go through to the priority Paris final later this evening. She won it in 27.62, and Chloe Harris also faster, 27.97. Well, if she'd done that this morning, she would have been in the B final. Very impressive indeed. Just waiting for the confirmation of the results. Well, what a shame they both didn't do that this morning. They would have gone up, both of them, into the B final. As it is, it looks like it's going to be Chloe Harris. There she is. We'll go through to lane 8 in the final of the priority Paris final. So what will she do now? She'll go straight down into the swim down pool and go and swim the lactic acid away and just get nice and relaxed. Probably swim about 800 meters or so. It's quite important to make sure that you go and really swim it away, and that's not just easy swimming, but you'll do a mixture of easy and a little bit of medium with the odd little sprint in there just to flush it through. So we're now talking to John Mason in the studio.
Well, there you have it. Tonight's racing is now sorted, and it's time to get into the show. If you joined us last night, it was an amazing way to start the week. Some incredible racing and loads of action in that pool. We crowned 6 new British champions. Amy Wilmot, you were up in that commentary box, joining us once again. What a fantastic way to start the week.
Yeah, some really promising swims from some of the guys last night. It's nice to see on day 1 people come here swimming well and kind of getting into the groove for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I think it's setting us up for some exciting action as we progress through everyone's programs and what we got to see. So we're going to take a look at last night, some of the action for those at home who missed it. We started off, of course, with the women's 50-meter breaststroke.
Yeah, Imogen Clark took this one in a time of 30.1, so just shy of her British record. So she had a really good swim to get back down to good form.
And that's where we started the night. We moved on to the men's 50. We'll start with the 50s, the fast ones.
Yeah, so the 50 backstroke tonight, we've got some of these boys going into the 100 where they'll be looking to secure some more Commonwealth Games times this summer.
Yeah, might see them on the podium again tonight. It was then on to the women's 200-meter freestyle.
Abby Wood took this one, really, really good swim from her. She's had glandular fever this season, so to come back from that, and we're seeing her again in the 200 breaststroke, so keep an eye out for her.
Yeah, she looked great last night. We'll see what she does this evening. It was then on to Dan Jervis, taking the gold in the men's 400 metres.
Yeah, probably my favourite swim of the night. Dan almost sort of made that time for the world, so with him being pre-selected in the 1500, hopefully he'll get to swim that as well when he's there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does later on in the week. It was the 200 IM. Freya Colbert had a busy night.
Yeah, she was in the 200 freestyle and then back in the 400 IM with a 2-second PB, so it was really nice to see her swim well in both of those events.
Yeah, and we finished the night, of course, with the men's 100-metre breaststroke.
Yeah, there's so much we could talk about Adam Peaty. Obviously, the time 58.58 would have made any Olympic history and final, and him and James last night had a really good swim, and Greg just missing that 60 barrier.
Just missing. Well, that was last night, of course. Tonight is going to be an amazing night of action. Amy, I'm going to send you up to the commentary box. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, for night 2 finals of the British Swimming Championships 2022. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being joined in the studio now by a very, very special guest, 4-time European champion and double Olympic champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom Dean. Hey, Tom, welcome, mate. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for joining us. I want to take it back to last summer, of course, an epic summer for you, an amazing Olympics campaign, double Olympic gold medals. Took the swimming world by surprise. What was it something that you sort of had hoped for going into that event?
I spoke earlier, actually. I had an interview and I was talking about the same thing. I think if you told me a year before, you know, we're in the middle of lockdown, you know, you'll be Olympic champion 12 months from now, then I probably wouldn't have believed you. But I think heading into it, I just kind of gained more and more confidence as we got closer and closer. You know, the time that I did from the trials placed me second in the world, so I knew I was going to be fighting for medals, but I knew it'd be a tight race. The 200 free is such a competitive event. You know, there's so many guys coming up through the ranks, and all of a sudden it took a 144 to even make the top 6, which is, you know, unheard of in our event. So, yeah, I knew it was going to be an exciting race. I knew if I swam the race I was hoping to, then it would work out.
Yeah, and you got to do it with Duncan as well, your teammate, taking that silver medal, which was an amazing moment. We've got a picture of you up here touching the wall, looking very emotional. What was going through your head when you touched and you turned and you saw, I'm Olympic champion?
I think that photo sums up pretty well. It was just, you know, shock and joy and
that was all your friends and family
yeah,
and
there you go.
of
That's
course.
Going crazy. That's what it felt like as well. It was just, yeah, it was insane, and it was the best result I could have asked for. You know, GB 1-2, and to get that gold for myself personally was brilliant. And then 24 hours later to do, you know, do it with the boys and get another gold. It was just such a special 24 hours.
Yeah, it was just giving me chills, you saying that. It's amazing to watch. So what's happened since Tokyo? Obviously, that's done. A lot of people did different things. What did you get up to?
So I took a long break off after the games. You know, my coach Dave said, look, take as long off as you need. Don't come back till you're ready. I think a lot of people make the mistake of trying to come back too early, and because, you know, the Olympics is so draining physically and mentally that if you kind of jump back in the pool too early, it can kind of hinder you, actually. So I took a long break off. Didn't really get back into training properly till, you know, the start of this year, and then I've just been building up since then, and this is kind of my first proper competition. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time off and got to celebrate with my family and friends, so yeah, it's really special.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see what you do over the coming season, mate. And just enjoy your week. First one back, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, see you do well. Speaking of competition, though, we're having our own competition here.
Yep.
You saw Amy yesterday, all right? It's our chopstick challenge. All right, so what we're going to get you to do, we got up here on the leaderboard, Amy with 5.
Right.
All right, that's all you got to beat.
Okay.
Solid score for Amy Wilmot. Excuse me. So what you need to do, all right, when we start the count, you've got 30 seconds to move as many Skittles as possible from this bowl to this bowl in honor of going to Tokyo with those chopsticks. You got the rules?
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
All right, brilliant. Can we get 30 seconds on the clock? You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. A little bit of focus. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, get behind him, give him a cheer. 1. You've got 5 to beat, Tom, just 5 to beat. Think about that, practicing this in Tokyo. Who's going for a focus technique? Was 2. Oh, it's coming 4. Come on, you can do it. Any techniques allowed. 5, there's no rules. Come on. He got 5. Mate, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Tom Dean and his 5 Skittles.
Amy made that look a lot easier than than it actually is.
It does. I thought that was going to be easier than it was. Listen, thank you so much for coming down and having a chat, mate. It's awesome to see you, and well done on amazing success over the last couple of years. I look forward to what you're doing next.
Thank you.
We're about to get into it, ladies and gentlemen, so it's over to Andy Jameson and Amy Wilmot, who was up there in the commentary box. All right, guys, it's over to you, and up to Alan in the venue.
Thank you, John. There we go. I am here, and welcome to the second session of finals of this 2022 British Swimming Championships. And it's the largest British Swimming Championships, I have to say, I've ever been to, with over 1,500 swimmers and over 4,000 performances going to be swum over the 6 days of this 2022 British Championships at this wonderful Ponds Forge swimming pool here in Sheffield. Some great finals. The women's 800 metres freestyle, I think, pretty wide open, but then we've got the men's 50 metres breaststroke, and I think that's the one that really everybody is here to watch tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, Adam Peaty's in that world record holder. You've got James Wilby and Ross Murdoch, so it'll be a really close swim, and it's nice to see those 3 boys back in there and being head-to-head.
Then we got the women's 50 fly, and I think Harriet Jones, and that starts as a really big favourite, Olympian again.
Yeah, she's got a huge chance to qualify for the Commonwealth Games for Wales, so she'll be looking to kind of post a fast time there.
The men's 200 fly, James Guy, first time up, our double Olympic champion, one of 3 double Olympic champions back from Tokyo. He goes in the 200 fly against a couple of good guys there, and then the women's 100 metres backstroke. Maybe our 2 favourites in that, not quite ready for this one, not quite rested fully, and maybe taking a little bit of time to get back to full speed.
Yeah, after the Olympics, it's that kind of like post-Olympic blues, as Tom just kind of mentioned. So it's one of those swims where Medi could have a fantastic race and she could come through to win that. So yeah, it'll be a really exciting one to watch.
Well, Medi Harris, as you say, the Welshwoman has been swimming so well, so really looking forward to that. And then, of course, the final race, the 100 backstroke, again a wide open race. So there's going to be some fascinating ones here this evening. Really looking forward to the finals. This night 2 of 6 of this British Championships. This great to see as well. Look at that. That's what we really have missed. Having the spectators in here, friends and family. And who's behaving worst? Of course, it's mum, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see some younger swimmers here as well, learning from those experienced swimmers we have in the pool. Obviously, as a young swimmer, you want to sit in the stands and watch Adam Peaty swim well, so it's absolutely fantastic.
He goes in the second event. There's 4 finals for every race that's in the final sessions, apart from the heat declared winners. So the fastest heat of the women's 800 metres freestyle, that will be the start of this final session. There were 3 heats this morning and another 3 heats this afternoon. And then the final heat, the fastest heat, will be in the start of this session. Then we've got 4 finals of the men's 50 breaststroke, 4 finals women's 50 fly, same for 200 fly for men, same for 100 back for men, for women and men. It's going to be a fun one. So, women's 800 metres freestyle. We talked quite a lot this morning And with Amy Wilmot about how to swim an 800 meters freestyle. Really tough events they are. So in lane 0, that's Cara O'Toole of Ealing. And 10 lanes used. Only 8 lanes normally in the final session for the races, but here we've got 10 lanes being used.
Yeah, as it's the fastest heat, those girls have been pulled through, so they haven't had to swim a heat in this event. It is the fastest 10 swimmers in the field that have been selected to kind of delay their event, as to say, and have it as first event tonight in the final session.
And of course, the voice of Amy Wilmot, triple Olympian, double Olympic finalist in the 400 meters individual medley, one of the toughest events, I think possibly alongside this event.
Yeah, 800 free is definitely not an easy event. It's one of those events where you need to get into the race quite early, you need to get into a groove, not really worry too much about what's going on around you, but at the same time you don't want to get left behind, because 800 is a long way to be swimming on your own if you have been sort of dropped by the rest of the field.
So the swimmers still being introduced to the crowd. And in lane number 3, here we go, Ella Dyson of Wickham and District. That was Lauren Weatherall of Aberdeen Performance. Here's Ella Dyson, British Championship gold medalist in the 800 metres freestyle. Now, Alice Deering, this is an interesting one. Open water swim at the Olympic Games for Great Britain, and a fabulous ambassador for black swimming. I think she's an ambassador for the Black Swimming Association, and she's doing wonders for that. She really is. She's in lane 5, second fastest seed for this final. And then Leah Crisp of the Bath National Centre, the fastest seed in 4.
Yeah, it's great to see her in here. Obviously 800 metres, it's a tiny bit too short for what she's used to. Obviously 10K is a long way, a lot more grueling, and the athletes around you can affect that, whereas in pool swimming, Alice has got her own lane, her own clear water, so it'll be really exciting to see how the girls in the middle of the field here kind of battle it out, as to say, to come through and hopefully swim some really fast times, and one of them will be crowned British champion at the end of this race.
Well, there's the fastest 2 seeds in 4 and 5. That red suit closer to us is that of Leah Crisp of Bath National Centre, just 20 years of age. And then Alice Deering in 5 with that purple suit from Loughborough University. And that 10K open water, what a race that was. It's so tough, and the water was really warm. Here, the final of the British Championships, the final heat of women's 800 metres freestyle at the 2022 British Championships. And gone off pretty quickly up there in lanes 7 and 9. It's Ashley Bailey of City of Sheffield, the 15-year-old. And Amber Keegan up in 9, also from the City of Sheffield.
I think we'll see some tactical swimming tonight. These girls are obviously all quite tightly knit in the centre of the field, so they'll be kind of keeping an eye on what's going on around them, not focusing too much, but at the same time, as I said before, not wanting to get left behind by the rest of the pack. But Ashley Bailey in lane 7 there's had a really good start. Junior swimmer from Sheffield, coached by Mike Taylor, so she'll be looking for European junior consideration time, so hopefully she can get close to that, and if she keeps up with the rest of the girls and carries on at this pace, then I'm sure she'll have a fantastic swim tonight.
Well, the consideration time is 8 minutes 54, so she's got a good chance of making that a season's best and a lifetime best 8:51. So she did that in Ireland unrested in February, just a couple of months ago, and she's looking good in 7. The first 125 metres or so, that red hat up there of Ashley Bailey of City of Sheffield. And the Sheffield team having a really good swim, a really good meet here.
Yeah, they have a lot of good junior swimmers, a little bit like the City of Leeds, which we've mentioned a few times. When I was younger, City of Sheffield always had a really big programme, a really good network of athletes coming in from the area, wanting to be here, obviously training at Ponds Forge, so this is their home pool. They're probably swimming in front of some family and friends who might have come down to watch, so it's nice for them to be able to do that and to have this facility to train in, day out.
Well, it really is a fabulous centre, and at the moment still going well up there in lane number 7, the 15-year-old Ashley Bailey. Really hope she can attack that European junior qualification standard. It's a consideration time, we should be clear. It allows you to be considered, but I'd be very, very surprised if somebody makes the consideration time and doesn't get selected, because they're tough times.
Yeah, the team size, they can take up to 50 swimmers, obviously across the gender, males and females. So in a way, if she does the time tonight, she gives herself a really good chance to secure one of those places and put her name in the pot for consideration.
So Alice Deering in the purple suit in the second of those two yellow lanes, just starting to stalk the leader at the moment, Ashley Bailey of Sheffield. Bailey over first, Deering second, Leah Crisp in lane 4, in the closer to us of those two yellow lanes in the centre, the fastest seed, third to turn. At that, the 250 metres. So coming into this wall, it'll be 300 metres done, 500 to go in this final of the British Championships 800 metres freestyle.
Yeah, these girls will be wanting to kind of push on a little bit, maybe coming into this wall. They've still got 500 metres to go, but if you're going to really break away, swim quite quick in terms of their entry times and get down back to where they have been in some of their season's best and PBs, these girls need to be pushing on and holding pace. They seem to be doing quite well at the moment, so if they can keep this up, then hopefully they can maybe pull Ashley through as well to dip under that 8:54.00.
And it looks, Amy, like Leah Crisp is just starting to make a move closer to us of those two yellow lanes in the centre. And Alice Deering trying to go with her swimming right on the lane line, trying to get a little bit of a toe from the leader there. Well, the leader, I was going to say the leader, but it's still Ashley Bailey swimming really well up there in 7, and just 15 years of age. This is quite a mature swim for the 15-year-old. Not even halfway yet, though, so I suppose the important bit, the real work end of this race still to come.
Definitely, the hard work kicks in at 400 metres. It starts to hurt. You start to get quite warm. Shoulders start to tighten a little bit, and it's about keeping your technique nice and relaxed, keeping that stroke long, not getting too short and starting to be scrappy just because you're getting tired. Some of them might have to start increasing their leg kick a little bit in order to be able to hold that pace and hold technique, but these two girls out in head are winding into the turns really nicely, so they're carrying a little bit of momentum from one length to the next and are able to hold some similar pace at the moment.
But it looks like Deering in that purple suit in the second of the yellow lanes is just starting to get dropped a little bit. Leah Crisp really started picking it up about 300 metres down. That was the 400 metres turn, the halfway mark of that last turn here. So this is 450. So they'll have 7 lengths to go at this turn, and Crisp just starting to turn up the pace here. Crisp just turns first by 3/100ths of a second, takes the lead from Ashley Bailey of City of Sheffield, but this is going to be a really interesting last 350.
Yeah, she may be thinking, oh, the pace wasn't quite fast enough for me at the beginning of the race, so she might have a little bit more in the tank through this middle part of the race. So both of these girls here are rating quite high in terms of distance freestyle, a little bit higher than you would say maybe see Alice, who's just behind. So Leah breathing every 3 and then every 2, so kind of having the ability to look both sides, and Ashley's breathing to her left, so she's always breathing away from Leah going down the pool, and then she's looking at her coming back. So sometimes when you can actually see a swimmer, you tend to catch up a little bit, so you might end up having splits that are a little bit slower one way and a little bit faster on the way back, and it's not intentional, but as soon as you can see someone out of the corner of your eye, you're trying to chase them back down because you've not realised that they've maybe got away from you on the length before.
Funny enough, in Rio, we were trying to work out, because there was one lane where everyone in that lane seemed to go faster up the pool than they did down the pool. And we were just wondering whether there was some filtration system which does happen, where they get the blowers just to move, like the water blowers, just to move the water around nice and calmly around the pool, just to make sure that the filtration works. And they declared that there wasn't any, but every single swimmer in this lane seemed to be going faster one by the other. Really bizarre.
Yeah, if you're diving into that lane and you're thinking it's fast, you're probably going to swim fast, so it almost is counterproductive at the same time. So it's nice when you are in one of those lanes, because you think, oh, maybe there is a little bit of an advantage, and I'm going to use that to my advantage.
So the 600 metres turn, 4 lengths to go, 200 metres to go in the final of the 800 metres freestyle for women. Leah Crisp of the Bath National Centre has really swum a canny race here. Nice and comfortable for 200, got to the 300 really comfortably, and then just started to turn it up, and she's kept that pressure dial just on all the way through. She's in the yellow lane, Leah Crisp in the centre, and then up there Ashley Bailey starting to look a little bit tired, but I suppose it's allowed at 15 years of age and 3 lengths to go in the final of an 800 metres freestyle.
Yeah, she'll have gone into that race hoping to really push the pace at the beginning, and if you get that tiny bit wrong, you'll suffer at the end, but she's still hanging on really well. But Leah kind of showing her experience now with distance swimming, really kind of working into this 700 metre mark, so she's building the legs here as we go into the last turn. Well, the last 100 metre turn, shall I say.
So there is two lengths to go at this turn in the final of the 800 meters freestyle. It's the final heat. It is heat declared winner, but this a really good swim. She's turning in 7:41, so she should get comfortably under 50. I wonder if the second swimmer at the moment, which is Ashley Bailey, can go under 8 minutes 50. That'd be wonderful to see, but catching her down in lane number 2, you can see closer to us, Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall. She was the best British swimmer at the Edinburgh meet on the 1500 freestyle, so as expected, coming back at the end really well, but super swim from Leah Crisp.
Yeah, really well paced, really nice and controlled. Her technique hasn't really faltered. She still looks nice and consistent. She's still working those turns. Not a massive underwater phase, but enough that she's getting round the wall nice and quick, getting up and getting settled back into that pace.
Well, it's going to be tight for young Ashley Bailey to get under 8 minutes 50, but she's right on her best time at the moment, which is 8:51. Leah Crisp's best time is 8:40. And Leah Crisp really driving, but look at that, they're trying to get her home, trying to get her under that European qualification time in 3rd place. No doubt about the winner though. Leah Crisp of Bath National Centre, coached by David McNulty, wins the women's 800 metres freestyle at this British Championships. The silver going to Fleur Lewis, a really good swim from her. And the bronze goes to Ashley Bailey of the city of Sheffield. And you can hear fantastic cheers because she's just gone a new lifetime best. And that was a great swim from her up in lane number 7. She went 8:51.34, 2/100ths of a second inside her lifetime best. But the important thing for her is that she's qualified, or she's done a consideration time for that European junior team.
Most definitely, she swam a really good race. It was hurting a little bit down that last length, but you could hear her teammates in the stands willing her down, and she just kind of got her head down, used everything she had left, and she's managed to secure a time fast enough to put her in place in front of the consideration. So really good swimming from her. And obviously our winner, Leah Crisp, in a time of 8:45.98 as well.
A good swim from Fleur Lewis as well. Her first time under 8 minutes 50. Let's just see if there's confirmation results. There it is. Leah Crisp winning it from the Bath National Centre, 8:45. Good swim from her, well paced. Fleur Lewis under 8:50. Well done. And Ashley Bailey in 3rd from the city of Sheffield, the 15-year-old. That's a really good time. Let's hear from John Mason and the winner.
Well, look, congratulations, Leah, our first British champion of the night. At the start of that race, you seemed so relaxed. It was such a powerful finish. What was going through your minds through, sticking to that race plan?
I mean, I know I always have a good back end to my races, so I tend to kind of focus on utilising that and kind of really pushing it through the back 400, so kind of went for that.
Well, it paid off in the end here, British champion. I know you've got the 400 and the 1500 coming up later on in the week, so you're looking to improve on those. What are you going to be focusing on as we head forward into those longer events?
I've just got a couple of days off now, just relax, recover, and then get ready for the 4 on Saturday and put in a good race then.
Yeah, well, look, it's been wonderful having you back in here again. Congratulations. And hopefully we'll be seeing you back here, maybe after the 4, maybe after the 15. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Leah Crisp.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Go rest.
Great swim from Leah Crisp to win the national title in the women's 800 metres freestyle. And here's some big boys. Look at this. Right at the back, standing up, back left, is James Wilby. He's about to swim the men's 50 metres breaststroke final. I can't see Adam Peaty there. Can you see him, Amy?
Either he's hiding or he's right at the back somewhere.
Look at this. Well, this is the great opportunity, I think. The whole reason why we have so many swimmers at these championships, because you've got juniors, you've got priority Paris swimmers, you've got the B finalists, all in the same ready room as the A finalists, and that A final's got Adam Peaty, world record holder. It's got James Wilby, Commonwealth champion, 200, silver medalist 100, bronze medalist 50. It's got Ross Murdoch, world championship medalist on the 100 metres breaststroke. Some utterly phenomenal swimmers, all in that ready room, all with these juniors. And they'll be watching and learning so much from these big senior guys.
Definitely, even being in there, kind of seeing what they're not getting up to, but how the athletes deal with the call room, how they're getting ready, are they chatting, are they kind of getting in the zone, giving themselves that mental rehearsal. So it is interesting to see those swimmers, and you do learn
from people in that environment as well.
So the first final is the junior final of the men's 50 metres breaststroke. Fastest seed is Rafa Dobson of City of Milton Keynes in 4. So 50 metres breaststroke, the final of the juniors. And Rafa Dobson right in the centre in 4 has had a good start, as has in lane number 3, Callum Melville.
Yeah, you haven't got any time in the 50 metres breaststroke in particular to get into that. You want to have a really good underwater phase, get up into the stroke and be swimming as fast as you can, as quick as you can.
Well, Rafa Dobson coming back on the second half of this 50 metres breaststroke. Callum Melville still holding on in 3. It looks like it's those two in the centre. Who's going to get the touch? It is in 3. Callum Melville of Nova Centurion, 29.14. And that's a new lifetime best for him. Very good time indeed for him. So Callum wins it in lane number 3, 29.14. 29.18, just 4/100ths of a second behind him is Rafa Dobson of City of Milton Keynes. And third, Oscar Bilbao of City of Hereford. The timing system hasn't quite worked though, so we still need to make sure that we get all the swimmers confirmation of their results.
Breaststroke in particular is a bit of a touchy one. When you see the official results not pop up, the first thing you think is, I really hope I haven't been disqualified. So it's nice to see that as we see the official result there, all 8 boys, no technical infringements, all PBs stand, and a really, really good swim.
So, well, very, very close. 4/100ths of a second splitting the top 2. Melville and Dobson, and what a start. Well, that was the juniors. This is not an event to qualify for the British team for the World Championships or the Europeans or the European Juniors, but certainly there's spots available for the Commonwealth teams, for the home nations, the English, the Scottish and the Welsh. Not sure, I haven't seen too many Irish swimmers here, but certainly plenty of swimmers from the home nations here trying to put down markers, and this the Priority Paris final. The fastest is Pravin Mahendra Kumar in lane number 4 from Bromley. It's from a lifetime best to qualify for this final, 28.64.
Yeah, you'll see some of these swimmers, even in the 50, will be wanting to make sure that they have a good race, because if they've qualified for the European Juniors, for example, in the 100, they might get to swim this event off the back of it. So every race for them is just as important, whether it's the 50 or the 100 in their main stroke.
So Priority Paris final, the second of the 4 finals. This is for swimmers age, well, born 2001 or younger. 8 lanes of the pool used. It's a 10-lane pool, a fantastic facility here in Sheffield. And Pravin Mahendra Kumar, the fastest seed in 4. Cam Williams of Dartmoor Darts in lane number 5, the second fastest. But let's have a look at the start here. Very quick up into his stroke is Rohan Smith right at the top of Skipton.
Very, very good swimming from these boys. The bottom of the screen there, Adam Metcalf's really starting to turn it on a little bit now.
Well, this is very, very tight indeed, isn't it? Really hard to choose. Maybe the white hat of Mahendra Kumar of Bromley starting to come through in the second half. Oh, the touch. Rory Dixon of Stirling got it, University of Stirling, by 2/100ths of a second again. 28.66 for him. Wow, but it was all on the touch. And just outside his lifetime best, but a very good swim indeed it was. 28.66 for Rory Dixon, second. Pravin Mahendra Kumar of Bromley, third William Mitchell of Loughborough University. And so tight.
Yeah, it just shows how important that finish is. We might not have thought he was in the mix, but right on that last stroke, he's really dived forwards, 2 hands, smashed into the wall, and yeah, he managed to get his hands on there first.
Well, 2 very big finals still to come, and the men have already left the ready room, because that's the women getting ready for the next event, which is the women's 50 metres butterfly. But the men already gone from the ready room onto the pool side, waiting to swim. This is the B final. Swimmers ranked 9 through 16 from this morning's heats, regardless of age. So you can be a very quick junior, but you won't be swimming in the junior final, because you'll be swimming with the seniors at this British Championships. And there's some great swimmers here. Elliot Woodburn in lane number 2, the 16-year-old. He can go very fast from Millfield School.
Yeah, another couple of Loughborough swimmers in here as well, so it's nice to see that there's not just Adam Peaty at Loughborough that swims breaststroke. Everyone around him's kind of wanting to emulate that, and both Ollie and David Bloomfield in lane 4 and 3 also from Loughborough.
So a really good B final, and I have to say, British breaststroking is just unbelievable. We talked a lot about Adam Peaty when he went 58-58 yesterday. To set, I think it's the second fastest time in the world this year so far. But what we didn't talk that much about was James Wilby in second, 59.1. I mean, if Peaty wasn't there, we would have been infusing about 59.1. But as it was, he was second. Incredible. This is the B final. Bloomfield of Loughborough in 4, the fastest seed. Bradley Newman in 5 from the city of Cardiff, and in 3 is Ollie Taverner of Loughborough University. But lane 4 possibly got the best start there. David Bloomfield of Loughborough University.
Yeah, really agree, really nice start. But we see lane 2 starting to come through now. Elliot Woodburn down the second sort of part of this race.
Well, it's very tight indeed. Also going well is Kyle Booth up there from City of Cardiff. He's just had a torn meniscus in his knee, so to do breaststroke and come back from that, very good indeed. How's he gone? Well, Kyle Booth was second in 28.16. The winner, 28.09. It was Bradley Newman of the City of Cardiff in 5. But really tight. Goodness me. So close.
Yeah, another really, really close B final there. It's hard to split some of these athletes as they're coming down into those final few strokes. So super important to really work on that finish. And fantastic swim there for Bradley Newman from the City of Cardiff to finish in 28.09.
Well, Kyle Booth seems to be over his torn meniscus, doesn't he? In the final of 100, and then coming second in the B final of the 50. But this is the one that everybody's come to watch, and I have to say the stands really are packed to the gunnels. The swimmers' side, everyone's standing up. They're starting to get their mobile phones out because the British record is held by Adam Peaty, the European record, the Commonwealth record, the world record at 25.95 for a 50 metres breaststroke.
Yeah, I remember Adam just seeming to joke about breaking 57 for 100 breaststroke, breaking 26 for 50 for 50 breaststroke, and he seems to do both of them, and he sort of sets himself a target, and he's ambitious. He wants to be the best in the world. That's why he is one of the best swimmers we've seen up there with the likes of Michael Phelps and now Caleb Dressel. So for me, Adam's such a phenomenal swimmer, and he proves that in everything that he does and the way he carries himself as well.
Well, he's certainly a wonderful ambassador for the sport. David Murphy in lane number 7. So we've already seen Archie Goodburn of Edinburgh in 1. Lawrence Palmer of Putteridge Swimming Club in 8. And David Murphy just coming out there from Eddington Phoenix Swim Squad. Now, Gregory Butler of Loughborough National Centre in lane 2. Also coached by Mel Marshall, so training partners with Adam Peaty. What a squad that must be. And now, James Wilby, bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games on this 50 metres breaststroke. But he's got some quick guys inside him, hasn't he? Not least of which, this young guy coming out now.
Yeah, Ross Murdoch, one of my friends, one of the characters on the team. He's always been there. And yeah, he's had a different sort of interesting lead up coming into this meet. But he's swimming really well, and he's really happy with that. And similar with Craig Benson, Craig actually has a job, doesn't swim that often, swims 3 or 4 times a week, has hoped to qualify for the Commonwealth Games, which he did yesterday. So it's great to see those two boys just really enjoying swimming.
Well, here he is, the world record holder on the 50 metres breaststroke on the 100, unbeaten in the world on 100 metres breaststroke since 2014. But he had his one little blip in his career, I think, probably in his eyes. I mean, one little blip. He got a Commonwealth silver medal. It was utterly brilliant, but he was just pipped by Cam van der Berg out there on the Gold Coast 4 years ago. And I'm sure he's going to want to put that right in Birmingham in a couple of months' time.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Cameron van der Berg was one of the greats before Adam Peaty kind of stepped on the scene and has almost taken over. So 2 really good names in breaststroke swimming, and I'm sure Adam will want to correct that out in Birmingham.
I tell you what, for someone who's not rested, who's not really been back in the water that long, look at that. He is in the shape, I was going to say shape of his life. I mean, what's he going to look like in a couple of months' time? Big breaths. He's ready. The final of the men's 50 metres breaststroke, the British Championships 2022. Peaty in 4, Benson in 5, Wilby in 6, Murdoch in 3. So traditionally not the strongest part of PT's race is the start, but once he gets going, such a fast swim, and it's a decent start, really decent.
Yeah, really good start from him. Kind of held his ground against those boys around him, so he's looking really good as always, and here he is already starting to break away.
Look how fast he goes. Still going well, though, is Wilby up in 6. Wilby's going well. Also coming back in 5 is Benson, but PT just starting to swim away. What a masterclass of 50 metres breaststroke swimming. 26.91. Well, it's just about a second outside of his world record, but as expected, he's been dancing on the television. He's been on holiday. He's not rested. He's just come back into proper training, and he's just won the British Championship in under 27 seconds. Amazing. Absolutely extraordinary.
He's just proven the world-class athlete that he is. He doesn't have to be in the best physical shape to be the best in Great Britain. And although he would like to be here and swimming probably a little bit faster and maybe rested, but he's almost not too fussed. As I said, he's had his dancing shoes on up until Christmas, so he's now looking to get back in shape. This is kind of a stepping stone for him, working towards the summer, so it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about that swim.
Well, it really will. Does he look a bit like Ed Sheeran, or is that just the angle of the camera?
I don't know whether he'd be happy with that or not.
Well, I'm sure if he had his bank balance, he wouldn't mind sore, but look at that. Well, it wasn't actually as far ahead, a bigger gap as I thought, but Wilby came through very well at the end. PT wins it. 26.91, the world record holder, the world champion. Wilby gets the silver, Benson the bronze, and the Scots there in force. It's going to be really interesting to see that in the Commonwealth Games fairly shortly. Let's see what Adam's got to say with John Mason.
Interesting, yeah. Congratulations, Adam. 2 days, 2 British Championship medals. It's a nice way to sort of get you through your main events.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the event that you're always going to struggle with. You know, in January, I couldn't really do any breaststrokes, so the speed is coming back, and it's exciting to obviously be, you know, an amazing crowd, an amazing event, and we'll see where this takes us now.
Yeah, and like the 50 is, I know you're a sprinter, the 50 is a favorite event of yours, but it's a world event, but not an Olympic event. So over the years, sort of, how has your training changed towards favoring the 100?
I mean, it doesn't really change, actually. The 50's always been a bonus. We train the 50 for speed, that helps us on 100, and we obviously go a long distance, which helps on the back end, and obviously I just swim it.
Just swim it.
Yeah.
So we've got, you know, youngsters at home, I know you love to inspire. What's the biggest piece of advice you would give to one of those young swimmers who's approaching there for a 50 breast?
Oh, God. The harder you try, the slower you go. So just take it easy, but obviously fast. It takes a long time to kind of master the kind of speed, the rhythm, the technique, and you can lose it so quickly.
Yeah, well, look, congratulations. It's awesome to have you back, mate. Maybe see you in the 200 later this week. We'll see.
Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Adam Peaty.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Well, John Mason just having to breathe in and lean back to get those biceps past him of Adam Peaty. He does look in super shape, even though he's not rested at all. So straight into the women's 50 metres butterfly, and we've had some swim-offs here. So we've got some new lane assignments for this. We had a swim-off just before this session started, and had those the 2 swimmers in that swim-off done the time that they did in this swim-off in the heats. Not only would they not be in this junior final or the priority Paris final, but they would have been promoted into the B final. Really, really quick swimming.
Yeah, it's nice to get an extra swim in the swim-off. I know it's not ideal, you don't really want to have to do it again, but if you have that opportunity, you want to maximise it and post another good time, because at the end of the day, that does count with if you were to swim a PB, and it puts you in a good position to make it through the rounds, and those girls, had a good battle to do that.
Well, the 2 swimmers that did swim in that swim-off, one of them is in this women's junior 50 metres butterfly final. Chloe Harris, she'll be the top in lane 8. The fastest seed is Isabel Eiley of Hackney. Isabel's in lane 4. And in 5, Sky Carter of Basildon Phoenix. So Hackney and Basildon, the 2 London swimmers right in the centre, but a really good start in lane number 2 from Leah Whitaker of Mount Kelly. And Leah going really well down this first 25.
Yeah, she looks nice and controlled, and kind of what Adam said, sometimes the harder you try, the slower you go.
Well, she's breathing a lot. Maybe she could stick her head down a little bit because she really travels when she puts her head down. But see if she can stick her head down. Oh, breathe right in the last stroke. She still won it 28.04. Well, how much faster can she go if she just sticks her head down, certainly from about 35 meters? She looked like the propulsion and the momentum that she was getting when her head was down was that much greater.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those sort of racing skills and racecrafts that she'll learn as she gets older. We obviously have her in the junior final here, so she's got a lot of time to work on that. She might realise when she looks back and notices how quick she's moving when she's accelerating that it's better for her to keep her head down. So she's got a lovely PB there, 28.04 to finish first.
Well, it was a super swim. I have to say, Mount Kelly having a great year. Of course, the Speedo League champions, sort of the Premier League of club swimming in Great Britain. And for a school to win that all the way through the ages and, of course, the seniors as well. So they're having a really good year. So that's the junior final. Now we go to the Priority Paris final for a swimmers born 2001 and later. And the fastest seed is Annabelle Smith from Bromley. And the swimmer who won the swim-off, Eleanor Morgan of University of Stirling, is in lane 8 in this Priority Paris final.
She's not had a lot of time at all to recover. I guess those swim-offs were 45 minutes ago, so for a sprinter to do 250s fast back-to-back is quite challenging, so a 45-minute window is not a long time at all.
Indeed, she's in lane 8, 5 and 6 again. Two more Mount Kelly swimmers, Holly Widows and Blythe Kinsman. It's the fastest seed, Annabelle Smith of Bromley. The time she's set to qualify, 28.03. She's in lane 4. Holly Widows in 5. Just 2/100ths of a second slower in the heats this morning. Let's see if we can see some 27s here from these Priority Paris swimmers. So it's just one length of the pool. The Priority Paris final of the women's 50 metres butterfly. The B and the A final still to come.
Some of those swimmers really work in the underwater phase more than others. The two centre lanes in the yellow really use the full 15 metres to their advantage there.
So in lane number 5, it looks like Holly Widows of Mount Kelly. Just seen her teammate Leah Whitaker win the junior final. And it looks like she's going to take this Priority Paris final, Holly Widows. Really good swim from her. Yes, she does. 27.3. Well, I was wondering whether we could see someone go under 28. 27.33. That's a really good swim, and she should be delighted. Look at that. I do love the faces when they look at the scoreboard and realise what they've done. That's amazing.
0.7 drop off this morning, so no wonder she's happy with that. Holly Widows finishing first there from Mount Kelly in 27.33, followed by Rebecca from Cardiff in 27.85, and Betsy Wizard from Northampton comes in third with a 27.86. But it was so close, even fourth, 0.01, fifth, 0.01 behind that. So it really was a close race there.
Wow. 2/100 splitting 3 of those swimmers. That is just amazing. 86, 87, 88. 85, 86, 87, 88 it was. So 2, 3, 4 and 5 all split by 3/100ths of a second. That's why it's so important to get the technical elements of these 50s right.
Yeah, if you've thrown in an extra breath there in the middle of the race, or you may have kept your head down a little bit longer, maybe finished on a full stroke rather than a short stroke, it is all really important. And in world level swimming, that can sometimes be the difference from you winning a medal and finishing 8th. So those things are super important for these girls to be just really taken away, fine-tuning and trying to sharpen every time that they swim, no matter what level and no matter whether they're rested or not, because race skills and racecraft is so important to really work on.
So this is the B final. Swimmers ranked 9 through 16 from the heats this morning. And Eva Ocaro, the fastest seed from Sevenoaks in 4, actually snapped her Achilles in November. And she's here, fastest seed in the B final. Swimmer lifetime best to qualify, 27.5. B final of the women's 50 fly, right at the top there, 14-year-old Phoebe Cooper. Let's keep an eye out for her as well. So one length of the pool, B final of the women's 50 metres butterfly, and Eva Ocaro of Sevenoaks, the fastest seed in 4.
Yeah, these swimmers are starting to pick up the pace now. You see, hopefully we'll have some more 27s in this race. Super close. top of the field there in lane 8. Looks like she's had a really good start from Phoebe Cooper from the city of Sheffield.
Well, and she's winding up as well. If she can get in here, head down. This is good discipline. Just breathe with a couple of meters to go. Oh, just missed the finish as well, but 27.50. Well, she set a lifetime best of 27.9 to qualify, and Phoebe Cooper of City of Sheffield coming third. But the 14-year-old will have learned so much there, and I think when she watches that race again with her coach, I think they can work out a fair few areas to go even quicker. But that was outstanding. Harriet Rogers winning it, Isabel Goodwin second, but Phoebe Cooper, the 14-year-old third. Really good swim from her.
To make the B final at 14 is pretty impressive. So yeah, as you say, she'll take a lot of experience away from that. She'll be able to watch that back and hopefully tweak one or two things. But she did look like the last few strokes were a little bit more sort of challenging than some of the others, and they're the strokes that you want to really be using to accelerate into that finish.
So now we come to the fastest 8 women in Great Britain on the 50 metres butterfly, and the fastest is our British Olympian Harriet Jones from the city of Cardiff. Well, this is not an event that you can qualify for the British team for the World Championships or the Europeans, but certainly places up for grabs at the Commonwealth Games. And Harriet Jones from city of Cardiff, I'm sure she'll be looking at the qualification standard for Team Wales, which is 26.34.
Yeah, that's actually her personal best time, so she can be right on that or do a PB here tonight. She's put herself in a really good position for the selectors to pick her for Birmingham this summer.
And there's Tane Bruce, a Scottish swimmer. She can make the team for Team Scotland as well. 26.77 she'll be looking for. So lots of home nations interest here for the Commonwealth Games. In 6, Jessica Calderbank of City of Manchester Aquatics. But Harriet Jones, I mean, she swam really well in the heats and looked a class apart. I mean, she really looked very, very good in that heat this morning.
Yeah, she looked nice and controlled. She finished and we said she didn't even really look that tired, which just shows the class. She wasn't breathing an awful lot. She had her head down for, we think it was nearly 30 metres this morning, so she's really worked on that, and it's not easy to maybe breathe only once or twice over a 50. I needed about 5 or 6 breaths when I was sprinting. Could not make it down the other end of the pool otherwise.
Yeah, here she is. Harriet Jones of City of Cardiff will be looking to equal her lifetime best if she's going to make sure that she does a time that will be considered for selection for the Welsh team for the Commonwealth Games in this, the 50. I'm pretty sure she's going to make the 100 as well, though. She's a very, very good 100 flyer. Represented Great Britain at the Olympics in Tokyo on the 100 fly. She's the fastest seed in 4. And a big favourite for this, the final of the women's 50 fly. Can you see past Harriet?
I don't think so. Georgina Pryor was quite quick this morning as well. She looked really good, and she's just come out of the, or she's got the 100 back, sorry, later on today, so she's doubling up a little bit as well.
So lane 4, Harriet Jones of City of Cardiff. Lane 5, Georgina Pryor of Derventio. Georgina on the left-hand side of those two. On the right-hand side, the British Olympian, the 24-year-old from City of Cardiff, Harriet Jones. So Jones with a black suit right in the centre of those yellow lanes there, and a really good underwater, allowed 15, and she used 14 of the 15 metres underwater.
Yeah, not the quickest reaction, but she got the power off that and maximised that whole 15-metre phase.
And look at this, she's not breathed still, head down all the way, and this is a very good swim indeed. This is Ben Proud-esque. We'll be seeing him later on in this championships, but Harriet Jones looking really good, and the time that she was looking for, well, what's she gone? She's gone 26.48, just outside of her lifetime best, so it's just outside of that Welsh qualification time, but it's a very good swim, and I'm sure that on the 100 metres she'll be getting it, but it's not a bad swim at all. It was faster than the heats this morning. It's good from the Welshwoman.
Yeah, really close to that consideration time. As we say, she's got the 100 butterfly coming up later this week, so I'm sure she'll swim really well in that. Sometimes the 50 can be a little bit off if you're a little bit tense, a little bit nervous, with it being her first swim of the meet. But to improve on this morning and get within a 0.13 or 1.4 of her PB is pretty impressive, and I'm sure she'll be happy enough with that swim.
You think so?
Smile.
She wasn't looking... I'm sure she was targeting that qualification standard. That's the only way to go, isn't it? Set your sights high, and it was good. It was very good. And John, Mason. Now talking with the winner, Harriet Jones.
Well, congratulations, Harriet. British
Thank you.
champion. Nice little splash and dash to take the title.
Yeah, I always like the 50 because focus on the 100, then the 50 is just a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the 50 is so intricate. It's the start, the underwater, the swim, the touch. Everything's got to be perfect. Did it all go right in that? You didn't get anything wrong?
I don't know about that, but it went as well as it could have been, I guess, coming first.
Yeah. And in a race like that, it's over so fast. Do you have time to think about anything, to adjust anything?
I was just thinking, don't breathe. Just get to the wall.
Did you breathe?
No.
Well done. Congratulations. Achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, British champion. Give it up for Harriet Jones.
Thank you.
As we said, it takes a lot of skill to be able to swim 50 metres without breathing, and she certainly did that. So that'll be a tick in the box there with when she goes back to her coach, Graham Wardell. She might have been targeting that specific race process over the time. Obviously, you'd sometimes like both to marry, but that's just a really good learning experience for her. And she did manage the whole length without a breath.
It is amazing on the 50. Ben Proud does it so well. Just keep your head down and concentrate on maintaining that perfect stroke on every single stroke, maximising the efficiency on every single pull. Distance per stroke with the speed. Now we go straight into the junior final of the men's 200 fly. I did notice actually that Harriet wears 2 hats. Interesting to wear 2 hats with the goggles over the first hat but under the second.
Yeah, a lot of swimmers do that, in particularly the girls. The first hat kind of keeps your hair out the way. You try and kind of shape it as well, so it's as streamlined as possible. Then you pop your goggles on and your second hat almost keeps your goggles in place.
So here the junior final, just lanes 1 to 7 in this final, and there's a bunch of swimmers here who will be looking to try and make the European juniors. 5 of these swimmers, 5 of these 7 set lifetime best to qualify for this final. 200 fly junior final. And it's really fabulous to see all the juniors here. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be for the Olympic trials last year. We just couldn't incorporate all the juniors. That COVID bubble so tight, and it was essential at the time, wasn't it? But it's such a shame not to allow the juniors to swim last year.
Yeah, a lot of the juniors missed out. In particular, the boys probably more than the girls, because they tend to develop slightly later. So some of the girls that were still able to access national centres and training facilities were probably slightly older than some of the boys, as their boys are just under that sort of world-class level, as we like to call it. So some of the boys we've seen drop massive PBs, and that's just because they've been away, they've worked really hard, probably gained a massive strength benefit in lockdown, probably grown quite a lot as well, and they're coming back using that strength, that height, and that power. And we saw a lot of seconds and do massive PBs.
Well, let's see if we can have some more. A little bit of a tide turn up there in lane number 6 for Charlie Broom. He's swam that first 100 metres very well, but didn't quite judge the turn. Lost a little bit of momentum going in, but certainly Patrick Braddock of Oldham looking really good in the silver hat in the centre.
Yeah, he looks nice and controlled. He's got a lovely high hip position, so his rhythm's nice and controlled. He's not necessarily entering too wide either, so he's must be getting a really nice pull under the water. Breathing every 1. Oh, there he goes, breathing every 2, just into the last bit, but that might be to time his finish. Oh, and that's probably why. Breathe 2. It was a little bit long. If he'd have kept that rhythm of breathing once, he might have just hit that wall a little bit better. So that's something he can just take away and work on.
Well, he's going well, and he's set a time, a lifetime best, to qualify for this final, 2:07.0. And if he can keep this going, and he's still looking good with 20 metres to go, he could well go a lifetime best. He's looking really good in the centre. Patrick Braddock of Oldham Aquatics still going well up there in 6th, though, is Charlie Broom, but it's going to be Braddock. His time he set was 2:07.08. That was his lifetime best. Let's see what he's gone. 2:07.08 it was. He's just gone 2:04.88. Slaps the water with delight. Well done, sir. Number 1. Yes, you are. You won the junior final. I have to say there are a couple of other juniors later on in the finals, but that a really good swim, and 2:04.
Yeah, no wonder he's pretty chuffed with that. Really, really nice race he swam. He really used the momentum through the race. Some of his skills probably could have been a little bit sharper, but he swam a PB with some of those just off the boil, so he's got lots of things to work on.
Well, I think without exception, every single swimmer set a lifetime best. That's quite extraordinary. Look at that. Pretty much all of the swimmers. I just have to check it, but I think that's true. And that is what we are hoping for at these championships, and that's why British Swimming have put the junior finals in as well as the priority Paris, and then the B, and then the A. There's James Guy on the left-hand side of that shot in that black hoodie. And this is quite interesting because those guys are pretty big guys and the chairs are quite tight. You've got to sit with your elbows in. It's quite warm here, so you don't really want to have your arms totally by your side. Get a little bit of sweaty pits going, Amy.
Yeah, you're rubbing shoulders almost with your rivals straight in there next to each other in the core room, but at the same time you actually do want to stay relatively warm before your race. If you're quite cold, then you've got to almost dive in and get those muscles primed and ready. So that's why you see a lot of athletes either take a long time to take their kit off if they're waiting for the fastest seat to come out, or they'll have a big puffer jacket just to make sure that they're primed and ready to go. So as soon as a whistle goes, bang, almost they're off and they're into their race and not taking time to warm up.
Right at the top there in that blue hat of Chelsea Westminster. At the bottom of that list is Henry Gray. Never swum a national championships, and again, this is what it's all about at this meet. Have swimmers come along, never having experienced this national championship, senior nationals, and he set a 6-second lifetime best. And a quick chat with his coach, Lisa Bates, your ex-coach.
Yeah, she doesn't sort of breed weak swimmers, so it's nice to see another one in a 200 metres butterfly.
Sam Tucker of Wickham District is the fastest seed in this, the final of the priority Paris for men. Swimmers born in 2001 or later. Tucker in 4, Ransom in 5. They're going pretty quick down his first 50. Isaac Dodds of the City of Leicester.
Yeah, really good swim from some of these guys. Sorry, really good start. You want to try and get out a little bit of head, but James kind of comes into the first 50 there. 26.92 is a pretty fast first opening 50.
Well, it really is pretty quick, but he does look quite comfortable. And easy speed down this first 75. Start winding it up into the 100 meters turn. And then start moving, but it's very even at the moment, and interesting that the guys in the centre holding back a little bit at the moment. Leading closest to us is Cole Hewitt of Swansea University, set a season's best of 2:06.8 to qualify.
Yeah, lane 4 starting to come through now, really kind of showing his potential race ability there. He hasn't gone out too fast in the first 50, and he wound up that second 50 really nicely.
And Cole Hewitt closer to us, well, really comfortable to 75, but just started moving, and his kick, his second kick is really powerful, and he looks good. He's got about 75 to go, and he's looking very good.
You want to use that kick to your advantage. If you're a really good butterfly kicker, you don't want to just swim the race with your upper body. If you've got the ability to be able to time that really powerful kick in the right time, it's almost a perfect place to use it and maximise the strength that you have down the last length, especially from the legs.
Well, he's looking good, Amy, with red markers there. It's his 25 metres to go. And Cole Hewitt of Swansea University, if he can hold on here. The others starting to charge there in the centre in 5. It's Thomas Sansom of Loughborough University. Also in 3, it's Isaac Dodds. And the charge is really on. Tying up a little bit closest to us is Cole Hewitt, but swam a really good race. The winner, 2:04.22. Thomas Sansom of Loughborough University. Second was Isaac Dodds of the City of Leicester, and third Samuel Tucker of Wickham and District, and fourth was Cole Hewitt, but his time 2:05.54, just outside his lifetime best, but a new season's best for him. And look how much 200 fly hurts. Oh.
Yeah, a few smiles, but also well done for finishing. Really good job. We both pushed each other through that, and it's nice when you see teammates, and also you develop a lot of friends in the sport, so it's good to have that rivalry, but also the kind of competitiveness of having friends in the core room, friends in the race that also swim well.
So the confirmation of the result then, Thomas Sansom winning at 2:04.22, Isaac Dodds was second, Samuel Tucker third, and Cole Hewitt in that priority Paris final was fourth. The British record in this event was set back in 2009 at the Rome World Championships by Michael Rock, 1:54.5. Absolutely amazing. So the B final of the men's 200 meters butterfly, and we've got a junior in here, and he's in lane number 7. Ruben, he's about 6'5" from City of Manchester Aquatics. He's a big unit, and he's very quick. Ruben Robotham Keating, coached by Mark Rose, and if he can get a new lifetime best, which he set in the heats this morning, if he can go a further decent lifetime best, he's got a good chance of qualifying for the juniors. There he is. I'm guessing 6'5". I mean, he's by far the tallest of all the swimmers in that field. He's a skinny unit, but he looks very, very good indeed. He's a great shape, and once he gets a little bit older and is allowed to start pumping the weight, so I'd imagine he's going to be a cracking swimmer if we can hold on to him.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a couple of other juniors in this race as well, looking to kind of get as close as they can to that consideration time.
Well, the consideration time for this 200 meters butterfly is 2:01:55, so it's a very, very quick time, but it's possible. So the B final of the men's 200 fly, fastest seed is Jacob Jackson of City of Birmingham in lane 4. And in 5, second fastest seed after this morning, going at 2:02.1 was Reese Edwards of the Swansea University.
Yeah, we've got a lovely start there from the bath swimmer, Joshua Gammon. Really nice off the block, quite quick in terms of his reaction, also really nice underwater work.
Josh in lane number 3, and right at the top there, Ruben Robotham Keating of City of Manchester, the 16-year-old. Good first 50. He's got still an awful long way to go, though. This 200 meters butterfly is not easy if you go out too quick. Let's hope he's paced it right.
You definitely don't want to be pacing a 200 meters butterfly wrong. At the same time, you don't want to be going out too easy, because sometimes to hold some of that kind of energy back, it almost takes as much energy as it does to go out a little bit faster. So it's one of those really tricky races to pace right, and if you can nail that, then you mastered the 200 meters butterfly.
Well, he's turned first up there in lane number 7, 57.8, was it? Something like that. I mean, it was quick. It was quick, 57.82, but now the charge comes in lane number 4. This is what happened in the heats this morning. Jacob Jackson really turned it on after he hit that first 100 meters turn, and the two guys in the center lanes, the yellow lanes, looking really good in those white hats.
Yeah, the Birmingham swimmer looks nice and controlled here as he's coming into this turn. Tiny bit long there, but he's got round the wall nice and low, and the boys really using this underwater. You see them almost at 10 meters there, which is really, really good to see.
Well, the charge very much on here, and this is tough. This is where it really starts hurting. 25 to go at those red markers, and they really are driving for the wall, and they're still looking very good, you know. Jacob Jackson of the City of Birmingham, closer to us in those centre lanes. In 5, it's Reese Edwards of Swansea, and those two guys going really well. Let's see how they finish right on the end of a stroke. Very good discipline. That's great from Jacob Jackson to win the B final. 2:01.12. Second, Reese Edwards of Swansea, 2:01.48. Great swims from them. Third was Josh Gammon, and 4th was Ruben Robotham Keating of City of Manchester Aquatics. And his time, 2:02.86, just outside the consideration time for the European juniors, but not far at all.
No, definitely not. It's one of those races that if you get a tiny bit wrong with the pacing, you just really suffer. But Jacob kind of finishing first there in a PB. Also another PB set by Josh Gammon. So some quite quick swims in that B final, and I'm really looking forward to the A final now.
Well, the A final is really going to be fascinating because we've got Sir James Guy in it, but he's not the fastest qualifier. He was only 3rd after the heats this morning. He did look very comfortable indeed, I have to say. He really didn't push it. And of all the swimmers, a lot of swimmers like to go really hard, certainly thinking about people like Abby Wood. They don't mess about in the heats, they really push it. James Guy is not one of those swimmers, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, he sometimes swims a little bit more reserved. He knows that for him, the final's the important race, so he'll potentially hold a little bit back in the morning, play a little bit of a game, swim not within himself, but comfortable enough so that he can come back tonight and drop some time. Some of the swimmers that often get in or give a lot in the morning and don't really have the capacity to drop in the evening. And James is always one of the swimmers we see that comes back in the evening and puts on a show and swims really well.
Well, I do think this final is pretty wide open, I have to say. Ed Mildred is making a move to senior swimming. He's only 18, well, he's 17, 18 on Sunday, this Sunday coming. And he's a great junior. And he's in that really interesting phase of making it from the juniors, making that leap from the juniors to the seniors. I have every confidence he can do that. Hector Pardo in lane 2, the open water swimmer from the Olympian for Great Britain. Tom Bealey of Plymouth Leander in 6. And then, well, here he is, a teammate of yours on the British team. And what a swimmer, double Olympian, double Olympic gold medalist, James Guy of Bath National Centre.
Giving everybody a wave there, using the crowd, using the atmosphere to maybe find a little bit extra to help him get down this swim tonight. British Swimming Championships is a great event, and Team Sheffield are sat right behind me in my ear. So Jay's another fantastic swimmer, very versatile, got a lot of strength at the back of the race. So it's interesting that both of these swimmers, well, the top 3 swimmers are really, really strong butterfly swimmers.
Well, they certainly are, and this young man, yet another one, Mason Wilby, son of Martin Wilby. Fabulous coach, actually coaching, a British guy coaching out in Canada, coached at Florida for a while, coached Gemma Spofford to World Championship title on that 100 metres backstroke. No record stood for ages. James Guy in 3, Wilby in 4, Lelliot in 5. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really close race. Definitely, probably to the wire, but yeah, the world consideration time is 1:55.33. So these boys have got to get a shift on tonight if they want to get close to that.
That's a tough consideration time, that as well. 1:55.3.
Really quick.
The British record is only 1:54.5, and that is now 13 years old. Michael Rock set it in Rome. World Championships in 2009. Men's A final. Fastest 8 men in Great Britain in the 200 metres butterfly are in this final, and Mason will be the fastest seed in 4, but in 3, as we often see, James Guy going for it, double Olympic gold medalist from Tokyo in that red hat, and he looks very good down the first 30 metres.
Yeah, fantastic start for him. Ed Mildred actually got off this block really well. He was hanging on, swam for London Row at the ISL Championship, so he's probably had a lot of experience on that short course, which you can see he's really used to sharpen some of his skills. Both horse swimmers out in front, pulling 10 metres off the walls underwater, so really, really good race practices that they've been rehearsing.
Well, James Guy looking really good indeed. Just really working it nice and comfortably down this first 75 metres coming into the halfway turn. But I have to say, look at this, he's about 2 metres ahead of the field, and let's see his 54.5. Well, he's definitely going for that qualification time here. Yeah. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, he looks like he's really shifting. James isn't one of these swimmers that will get in and swim soft, so he's kind of saying to the boys, if you're after a 1:55.3, you better come with me. So he still looks really good down this third length, and fingers crossed he hasn't burned too much energy too soon, and he can just really hold this rhythm, breathing every one, using the legs coming into the third 50 turn.
So 50 metres to go at this turn, 1 length left in this final of the men's 200 metres butterfly, and this is very, very good indeed. Second is Mason Wilby, and the rest of the guys starting to charge. It's a Guy, but Guy's still holding on at the moment.
Yeah, come on, James, doing it almost really well. If he can split 29 on this last length, he should do it, so fingers crossed.
Well, the time he's looking for is 1:55.33. 1:55.33, and he's tying up inside this last 10. Come on, James, let's get in. Let's see the time. He's just going to be outside. Oh, 1:56.3, a second out. Really went for it. Such a gutsy swim. Well, you have to take your hat off to the way he went about it. Gave himself every chance of hitting that really tough qualification standard. It is only a consideration time, so if he doesn't make it, he's still allowed to be selected. And of course, a member of that gold medal, Olympic gold medal winning 4x200 metres freestyle relay, a member of the gold medal winning 4x100 mixed medley relay, so I wouldn't be very surprised if he doesn't make the team.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll get to swim that out there at the World Championships. Really gutsy swim. Sometimes you've got to kind of put yourself out there and get out there in the first 100 metres if you're going to post a quick time, and James knew he had to do that, and paid for it a little bit in the last 10 or 15 metres. It's not nice when you see a swimmer and you know it's really hurting and they're getting a little bit short, but really, really good effort from him. And he's one of the swimmers that's probably not well rested, not in great shape to swim well now. So to get close to that time is really impressive.
That must have hurt as well, because he was tying up really badly at the end, but did really well. The first 100 looked beautiful, up to 150. James Guy, again, British champion on the 200 fly, 156.3. 2 157s from Wilby and Lelliot. And Bealey was fourth. Hector Pardo, the open water, 10,000 metre open water swimmer for Great Britain, he was sixth. And John Mason now talking to the winner, James Guy.
Well, congratulations, Jimmy. Another British Championship medal for you, gold medal. And what a race. I mean, you kind of dominated that from the start. Went out fast, managed to hold on to the ends. Was that the plan?
No, not really. The game plan tonight was to kind of even pace it as much as I can, but you know, obviously to get a good time like that after a few months' work is pretty good, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing race to watch. And, you know, you came off the back of the Olympics as well, got those gold medals. It must have been an emotional moment for you when you did that.
Yeah, of course. I think I was on my last performance swim camp I did with some kids. It was, you know, 20 years of hard work to get them Olympic gold medals, and it was just so important to me to kind of achieve that. And you know, I was so happy with the result in Tokyo, but to be back here in Sheffield, first time in 5 years, to be in actual British Championships again is pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, since the Olympics, what have you been up to?
So weirdly enough, after the Olympics, I had probably about 3 months out, did some work experience at a property company, thinking about real kind of life, actually getting a real job, which was really, really weird. So did that, had a holiday, got a dog. But I think for most people, if you don't know, a lot of the guys went into overdrive Olympic year. So a lot of swimmers here who went to Tokyo had a massive break. And this year for us is kind of you get what you get, but you know, hopefully it'll be a good one this summer as well.
Yeah, so, you know, you're saying that everyone went into overdrive, sort of, you get what you get. How did that race sort of compare to your expectations for your own performance?
You know, in comparison to last year, I think I was a second slower there. But after Tokyo, I had 3 or 4 months out, did the ISL, came back in January properly, and for 2.5, 3 months' work, not bad. So hopefully in summer I can drop a little bit more, but I'm happy with that. I'll take it now.
Well, mate, I'm happy you ain't got a real job yet, because I love watching you race. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your British champion, James Guy.
Well, he's not got a real job apparently, but certainly that 200 fly was a serious job, and he did very, very well. Just 1 second outside the qualification standard, but his swims at Olympics were just utterly brilliant, I have to say.
Yeah, really interesting to hear him as well talk about the effort that you put in that 5th Olympic year. Obviously, we're used to a 4-year Olympic cycle, so to stretch that to 5 with a delayed Tokyo Olympic Games is pretty tough for the athletes. For some like me, give me another year to really think, right, I'm definitely retiring. It's just 1 more year of hard work. But for some of those guys that are not planning on retiring and that are still competing, like Adam and James, a well-needed break is what they needed, and they've deserved that, and they've earned it, quite frankly, after last summer.
Well, I'm fascinated to hear your views on that. We'll just go into that in a second, because we've got the Chief Exec of British Swimming, Jack Buckner, actually just announced that he's going to go and become the Chief Exec of British Athletics, and a British Olympian he was himself, actually, on the track. He was a track athlete. I can't remember if it was back in '88, I think it was. He was a track athlete. Made the final of the Olympic Games. He was a distance runner. Still looks in great shape, doesn't he? Anyway, here is the medal ceremony for the women's 800 metres freestyle. Ashley Bailey getting the bronze medal for the city of Sheffield, and there Fleur Lewis of Barnet Coxall getting the silver. But what a swim it was from Leah Crisp of the Bath National Centre. Really good swim, very well paced.
Yeah, really nice swim from her. She wanted to kind of even split it a little bit better, but a fantastic effort.
Well, it seems such a small reward for such an awful lot of work. 800 metres freestyle, 16 lengths of this sport. And Leah Crisp winning the British national title again on the 800 metres freestyle. Men's 50 breaststroke, well, we know what happened there. And Adam Peaty, I mean, it must be slightly annoying in one way for the rest of the guys swimming against him all the time. James Wilby, he likes to have a laugh leading them out there. But it must be really tough just to be in the same era as Peaty.
it is tough, and it was kind of very similar for me and Hannah. Hannah was always the person on the gold medal podium, and I was always the person winning silver. So it can be a little bit demoralising, but you still know that you're one of the best swimmers in the world, and this is really nice. I was just about to say, presenting your own medal to yourself at the British Championships isn't the most exciting thing. So to see these boys sharing that, crowning each other bronze, silver and gold medalists, is really nice to see, and big smile on James's face there.
Well, it's not bad either to get your medal from the world record holder on the 50 and 100 breaststroke at the British Championships, is it? Craig Benson clearly enjoying it, as was James Wilby. And what are they going to do here? They're going to give it to him together. Don't throttle him, look after the guy. There you go, went up his nose, but he did well.
Yeah, so sweet. The male breaststroke in this country, Craig Benson was actually at the London 2012 Olympics, so he's the last swimmer still standing from that team. So it's nice to see him here swimming well, picking up another medal, and he's qualified for the Commonwealth Games this summer for Team Scotland, all bar selection. So it'll be nice for him to tie a nice bow in his career and do it in Birmingham.
Wonderful to see those three guys on the medal podium at the Commonwealth Games as well. That's not impossible, is it?
No, definitely not. All three of those are phenomenal sprinters, phenomenal 100 swimmers. So it'll be interesting to see which way around, I should say. We expect Adam to win, but yeah, you never know on the day. It's anyone's game.
So that was the men's 50 metres breaststroke. British champion yet again, of course, Adam Peaty. And this is the women's 50 metres butterfly medal ceremony. And it's nice to see the swimmers actually being presented, not just having to pick it up and stick it around their own neck. There's Georgina Pryor of Deventio. She got the bronze, 26.77. Sophie Yandel of Deventio the silver and the bronze, 26.67 for her, a tenth of a second ahead of her teammate. But Harriet Jones looks really good, 26.48 from Cydia Cardiff, just outside the qualification standard for Wales for the Commonwealth Games. There we go, they got it right. It didn't go up her nose. They got it absolutely perfectly.
Looks like the boys have set a trend. Yeah, really nice that you see smiles on the podium. It's what you work all year for, so to come away with a British Championship medal is a nice accolade to take home.
And with 100, her best event still to come, Harriet Jones, I wouldn't be too surprised if she really smashes that qualification standard to make it through to the Welsh Commonwealth Games team. And Jack Buckner just going away from the medal podium. I have to say, he's done really well. He's looked after British swimming for, what is it, last 5 years or so, and he's really presided over some fantastic swimming. Britain's most successful ever swim team.
Yeah, him and Bill Finesse, Chris Spice have had a fantastic few years in terms of the management of British swimming. They've created a lovely atmosphere, lovely team culture, and you can tell that that's what's helping the athletes win medals at world level. And it just showed at the Olympic Games last year with our most successful ever Olympic swimming team.
Well, can't say enough about how they dealt with the COVID situation, and it was just so fluid. Every single moment they made a plan, it moved. And so we are now halfway through the programme. We've got the women's 100 metres backstroke 4 finals of that, then the men's 100 metres backstroke finals, and then the final event of this evening, the second set of finals here, second day of 6, will be the women's 200 metres breaststroke. So women's 100 backstroke, this is going to be fascinating because the two top swimmers in the country historically, as Catherine Dawson and Cassie Wilde, they haven't really needed to be that quick so far this year. Catherine Dawson, of course, pre-selected. So, and while they've been working through their training, Medi Harris has come through from Wales, and my goodness me, she's had a fantastic time, isn't she?
Yeah, it's a perfect time for somebody who's sort of flying under the radar, just working really hard, sees Great Britain, Kathleen winning Olympic medals, thinks, I want a slice of that. What am I going to do this season to give myself the best chance at being part of the Great Britain team next year? And it's inspirational when you see swimmers in this country swimming really well, no matter how old you are. I was in awe of some of the performances out in Tokyo, and I was probably one of the longest standing members of the British swimming team. So it's just nice when you're in that environment and you pull the best out of each other. So for these swimmers here in the junior 100 backstroke, they'll have been locking up to those swimmers last year, and they're coming here now with a junior chance to be a junior finalist.
And indeed a great opportunity to swim in the same final sessions as some wonderful British swimmers. James Guy, James Wilby, Kathleen Dawson, of course. Great to see Britain's women getting gold medals at the Olympics. We got 2 of them this, the junior final, the women's 100 back. And Iona Colbert, the fastest seed in lane number 4, and her sister swum well here so far already, and a great start from her.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's her sister. Freya swam really well yesterday, and Iona there after a really good start in this women's 100 backstroke.
So Iona in the green hats and the purple suit right in the center there. Started well down this first 25 meters. Really needs to make sure that she holds stroke, just doesn't turn over like a windmill, but just holds the water, really grabs it. Let's see how she goes around this wall. Amy.
Yeah, she's got a tiny little bit of a bob, but as we saw this morning with Kathleen, it's just so powerful. But she's really used that underwater. Past 10 meters in a junior final, you don't often see that. So really, really, really good technical focuses that she's clearly been working on.
Wow, well, she took about a meter off the rest of the field on the start and the turn. And she's holding on well. She's giving it a really good go, a gutsy swim. And as you said, Amy, I think she can probably get a little bit flatter as she gets older, but concentrating on the finish now. And this is a great swim. Wonderful start, wonderful first 25 and 50, great turn. And look at that, 62.42 inside the junior European qualification standard, or the consideration time. Wow, that was great, Amy, wasn't it?
Really, really good swim. We've even got some juniors coming up in the finals after this. So for her to post that time in the junior final on her own, really phenomenal underwater work for a junior swimmer. I'm really, really impressed with that swim.
And she can get much faster. I mean, it was a very good swim indeed, and the way she did it, technically really good, but my word, that turn was awesome.
You hope to have a turn like that at a senior level and at senior competition. So for her to just be able to throw that in 50 meters off the first length, really worked 12 meters, almost 13 meters off the turn. Really, really, really good technical swim from her there. And the time just shows that.
Well, she's only 16 years of age, Iona Colbert, but she wins the junior final of the women's 100 meters backstroke in a time that will be considered for the European junior team, and that's a really good swim. And the Colbert family having a cracking event here, aren't they? Really are. Wilkinson second from the city of Sheffield. Isabel Eiley third from Hackney. And what a junior final that was. So the Priority Paris final, 32 swimmers allowed to swim in the finals in each event. We have the junior final, then we have this, the Priority Paris final for swimmers born 2001 and younger, and then there's the B final for the seniors and the A final, and of course you fill up the finals from the A final first, however old you are, then you go to the B finals and fill it up, juniors, seniors, it doesn't matter. Lump them all in, get them fantastic experience in this British National Championships.
Yeah, there are three juniors in this race here, lane 1, lane 2 and lane 3, so they'll have seen that time in the heat before from Iona there, and will be looking to try and sneak under that time and give themselves the chance to be on that European team.
Wonder what they're thinking now, having just seen that swim.
I better get a move on, probably.
Or words to that effect.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. There's the fastest seed in the green hat in the centre, Amelia Sansom of Wickham and District. And in 3, Evie Diddy, that silver hat. Boss, Borough of Stockton. And she can make it, certainly, the junior time, 62.77. We'll be watching that as well, but really good start in lane number 4 from Amelia Sansom of Wickham.
Yeah, lovely stroke. She's got such a still head position already as she goes down the first length. Really high turnover, but it looks so controlled and really powerful. And it's nice to see a backstroke swimmer who swims really straight down the middle of the pool as well, not too close to the lane rope, and is using that still head, fast turnover with her arms to really get good distance per stroke.
Well, first over just is Amelia Sansom of Wickham District, but it was very close indeed. And now the charge is going to come, and they really need to get a move on if they're going to get close to these qualification consideration times. And it is very close indeed.
Yeah, so keeping an eye out for lanes 1, 2 and 3 to achieve that 62.77.
So 62.77 for 1, 2 and 3, but in 4 at the moment it's still Amelia Sansom of Wickham. But at the top there, maybe in 7, it's Molly Garrett. Oh, it's really close. Oh, the finish. Oh, my word. Well, Anna Green in 2. She looked like she finished with one arm and suddenly stuck another arm in. I don't know how she had space even to do that.
I know, it's such a shame as well because she's now the wrong side of that European Junior consideration time. So that's why it's so important to practice those skills in training, especially in backstroke. A lot of younger swimmers will finish on their front. They won't actually finish on their back. So it just shows how important it is to practice those finishes every single time you hit the wall, no matter what.
And look at that, Molly Garrett's winning from York City. Her mum, Caroline, an Olympian, and her dad, Olympic coach as well. And Molly Garrett winning the Priority Paris final in the time of 62.8, 62.9 for Anna Green on her second arm. Would she have gone when she stuck her first arm in? Wow, that was a good swim from her. That last 5 meters, really good. Charging she was. So the B final. God, these races are coming so quick. This is just amazing. Staying on top of it all. Pia Murray of Leyland's Bar, European junior team member into 2019, is the fastest seed. Did a season's best of 62.8 to qualify for this B final. And the 2019 European junior silver medalist on the 200 meters backstroke. Annie Osrin goes in lane number 5 in this, the 100 backstroke.
Yeah, both of those swimmers, really nice backstroke swimmers. 200 backstroke, the slightly longer event, which means that they tend to either have the 100 and the 200 in the bag, or they're more focused to the 200. So it'll be interesting to see both of these girls head-to-head in the centre lanes of 4 and 5.
So season's best set by lane 4, Pia Murray, the fastest seed in this, the B final of the women's 100 meters backstroke. In the heat, she went 62.8. Honey Osrin was 62.83. Also a season's best for her in 5, and 6 a lifetime best, 62.98. Liz Hodgson of City of Leeds. The B final of the women's 100 back. Her feet just resting on that ledge just to make sure their feet don't slip on the start. And some good starts there, certainly in lane number 3, Georgia Pryor at Daventio, and they're having a really good meet, a really good evening this evening.
Yeah, we saw her in the 50 metres butterfly there, so she's clearly got that underwater skills, used them to her advantage, and she was really good at that in the 50 fly, and she's used it again at the start in the 100 metres backstroke.
Well, they do talk about the underwater being the fifth event, don't they? And certainly having a good butterfly kick, very important for fly back and free.
Yeah, if you can master that, you give yourself a really good chance of sort of taking 0.2 or 3 out of somebody else over each turn. And if you do that over a 200, and as the events get longer, obviously you're getting more and more an advantage over your competitor.
Well, you certainly used it on the breaststroke as well on the underwater pool. So Charlotte Evans of City of Cardiff going well in 2. Looks like she's just ahead. And I think somebody's coach is making an awful lot of noise right behind us, but she's now looking for the wall. Underneath the flags, 5 meters to go. So tight, it looks like it might be lane 2, it is. Charlotte Evans wins it of the City of Cardiff, and her time, well, it was quick, 62.28. 62.28 from the Welsh swimmer. I think it's, is that just outside of the qualification standard for the Welsh team? 60.83 it is for the women. Just outside, but a very good swim it was from her.
Yeah, season's best, so you can't really ask for much more when you come to these competitions, having maybe not got close to your PB. Her PB on paper is 61.49, so to swim a season's best, you should be pretty happy with that.
Certainly should be. At the National Championships to win the B final for the women's 100 back. Evans wins it, Murray 2nd, Osrin 3rd, Robertson 4th. 6 of the 8 under 63 seconds. So now the final, and this is going to be really intriguing. Kathleen Dawson, the European champion, I think she's European record holder on this 100 meters backstroke, certainly the British record holder. As she goes in lane 5, not the fastest seed. Cassie Wilde in 6. She's not the fastest seed because Maddie Harris of Swansea, what a year she's been having.
She's had a phenomenal year. We covered it earlier. I think after an Olympic year, there's a chance for those junior swimmers or those swimmers that are sort of just under the radar to come through, especially with it being a home nation year. A lot of these Irish Welsh and Scottish and English swimmers will want to be trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games and as well as the World Championships and Europeans. So with so many competitions this summer, there's lots of opportunity for these swimmers. And Medi Harris has thought, well, I want a slice of that, and which competition can I make it to? And if she swims quick tonight, she may even sneak a place on that World's team.
So here she is, European Championship silver medalist on the 200 metres backstroke. This the A final of the 100. Cassie Wilde of University of Stirling, she's in 6, and she'll be next to her teammate Kathleen Dawson, the European champion, in 5. Lauren Cox of Loughborough University in 3, the third fastest going into this final. But here is our Olympic gold medalist in the mixed medley relay, and what a lead-off swim she had there.
Really good swim from her. It's fantastic to see British swimmers and British females swimming really well and holding their ground, and she did just that in the mixed 4x1. She was sort of sandwiched in the middle of 2 boys and came through really well to give the rest of the team a really good start.
And this will be a fascinating test for Medi in 4. She's had such a great year. She's broken already Georgia Davis's Welsh record. I thought that would stand for ages. And 12 months ago, she was a 62-second 100 backstroker. She's now 59.2. She's fastest seed. She's in lane 4.
Yeah, taking a massive chunk off your PB gives you the confidence coming into a British Champs that you're on form and you are swimming really well.
No, I think when she set it, I think she set it in Ireland. She won the British Universities, the Bucks, with a 59.3, and then went to even faster, 59.2 at the Irish meet recently, in the Pollock meet. So very consistent, comfortable in the heat, 60.1. So Harris of Swansea in 4, Dawson, Stirling 5, Wilde, Stirling 6. The A final, the women's 100 metres backstroke, the fastest seed, and the green hat right in the centre lanes, and that right in the yellow lanes, a really good start as well, and a breakout superb Medi Harris of Swansea University.
Yeah, she's not messing around at all here. She's thinking, I want to try and get as close to that World Championship qualifying time as possible, and she's going down this first length really quick. Lovely still head, fast turner with her arms, still catching lots of water, and yeah, she's looking on form here.
Well, the Welsh qualification standard for the Commonwealth Games is 60.83, so she's destroyed that already, but let's see what she can do here. She looks very good indeed down this first 50. 28.9 is fast. Can she bring it back? She looks really good. The time that she'd like to do, if she can, is 59.02. 59.2, she's on it at the moment.
Really, really strong swim from her. She's coming into the wall, fingers crossed.
59.02, just starting to tie up a little bit, but come on, Medi, see if she can get that time. It's just outside, I think it is. 59.95 from Medi Harris, but she's the new British champion on the women's 100 metres backstroke. Second was Lauren Cox of Loughborough University, and Kathleen Dawson third. Golding fourth. But wow, she really went for it. Well, maybe paid for a little bit of early speed there because she just attacked it so hard.
Yeah, she meant business from the goal there. May have slightly mispaced that, but 59.95, still a really good swim. Commonwealth Games consideration time for Worlds, and a smile on her face.
Well, her parents, Ellie and Gwyl, must be really delighted with that swim. It was another great swim. And to go sub 60 seconds so many times, she's certainly consolidated that. She's walking quite gingerly around the pool. Your legs really hurt on 100 metres backstroke, even more than the 2, but it was a great swim. And she is the British champion. Medi Harris of Swansea wins the women's 100 metres backstroke. Lauren Cox got the silver. The bronze, I think, went to Kathleen Dawson. And let's hear what the champion has got to say to John Mason.
Medi, I tell you what, Dan Jervis said yesterday you guys weren't here to mess about, and you certainly didn't. That was an amazing race. You've got to be happy with that. British champion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really happy with that, yeah.
I mean, going into that, like you said you're tired, you sort of out fast and just dominated that back end. Was that the race plan heading into it?
Yeah, it's something we've definitely worked on in training. I think I was hoping for a faster time, but I can't complain with that.
No, you certainly can't. And you know, there's some other big names in that race as well, obviously racing against someone like Kathleen. Does that sort of push you on when you're in the race and you know they're in the lane next to you?
No, definitely. They're really fast, they're really good and fast girls, and they really inspire me to like work up to where they've set an example.
Well, I mean, you're looking good out there. What's coming up in the rest of the week?
I've got 100 free and then 50 back.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do then. Maybe we'll have you back here again. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Maddie Harris.
Thank you.
Well done, darling.
Thank you.
You were great.
She was absolutely puffed out there, wasn't she? It's a little bit cruel sitting her straight down after she's come straight outside the out of the pool. But what a lovely lady she is, and I'm sure she's going to go from strength to strength. Great swim.
Yeah, really good swim from her, and it can be a little bit daunting to swim, get out of a race, and have to comment on it straight away. Sometimes you're not as happy as you would like to have been. Obviously, Medi said there she would have liked to have been a little bit quicker, not really the time she was looking for, but that she can't be too sort of disheartened with that. So it's really nice to see swimmers reflecting on and swim so positively, and if it's not quite where they want, they've got lots of opportunity this summer to make it that time that they're after.
She certainly has, and she's moved from Swim Gwynedd in the north of Wales down to the Performance Centre at Swansea University, that seems to have really paid dividends.
Definitely, she's part of a really good training group there, and sometimes moving program can be quite difficult to adjust to, but it seems like she's just flying.
Well, 3 seconds in a year is quite extraordinary. She did go down to Swansea. I think she started in Swansea in September, but I think she was there a little bit earlier than that because she had to go down to Swansea in order to be allowed to train during COVID in the Centre of Excellence down there. So I think she was already used to it, which must have been very useful.
Yeah, it's nice to have some sort of familiarity when you are thinking about moving program. I moved from London up to Stirling, knew some of the coaches, some of the athletes there. So even though it's a big move and you are moving whole program, moving support staff, coaches, where you live, it's nice to know that you're moving somewhere that you're still a little bit familiar with, and it gives you a little bit more confidence as you just fit right in.
So straight into the junior final of the men's 100 metres backstroke, and Connor Cherrington of Millfield, the fastest seed, goes in lane 4. Fritz Dietz of Dartmoor Darts in lane number 5. Well, this is the junior final, but they fill up the finals from simply on the fast time. So the A final gets the fastest regardless of age, then the B, then the priority Paris, and then this junior final. And there's more fast juniors in the next one as well. So this the junior final of the men's 100 metres backstroke, and well, 6 of these 8 swimmers either swam lifetime bests or season's best to qualify for this final.
Yeah, really good to see some of the boys stepping up here this morning. The consideration time for the World and European Junior Championships is 55.8, so it's pretty quick.
Well, 55.8, if they can do that, they really well have swum well. The qualification standard of the fastest swimmer set, Connor Cherrington, was 57.4. So to go 55.8, they got some work to do, but it's a good first 50 metres from the lead of Connor Cherrington.
More swimmers using that turn really well. It seems to split the field in half when you can get that really good underwater phase.
So Cherrington leading in the green hat of Millfield School, and he still looks good. He's got 10 metres to go, starting to tie up a little bit. Coming back is Archie Evans in 6, but it looks like it may well be Cherrington. Can he get the touch? Oh, he didn't time it perfectly, did he? Finished almost on his elbow, but it was a good swim and it was good enough to win. Well, if he can pace that, not quite sure what that was. It looked a bit like an ostrich, but if he can just time that finish a little bit better, probably about a quarter of a second more just on the finish itself.
Yeah, we keep speaking about the importance of those technical things and those finishes, but they do make a massive difference. And I'm going to go with the hand sign was probably Millfield, so at the M for Millfield. But yeah, he looked really happy with that, and it's nice to see his teammates in there, sort of Alex, Adam, Graham, also swimming well there.
Well, it was good, and they'll learn so much at this championships. Not only will they be able to go back and watch the video of their own races, but they'll also be able to watch the big guys, the big guns in action, and we've got some crackers still coming up. Of course, the Olympic bronze medalist on the individual 200 metres backstroke, Luke Greenbank, going in the big final here in 3 finals time. So, priority Paris final, the second of the 4 finals in this men's 100 metres backstroke. We have had a withdrawal, I think it's Zach Speakman, if I'm right, in lane number 3. So there'll only be 7 in this final. But the fastest seed is Charlie Brown of Loughborough, coached by Dave Hemmings at the Loughborough National Centre, recovering from glandular fever and swam a season's best of 56.5 to qualify for this final.
Yeah, even with that sort of interrupted season, he's down there swimming really quick, season best time. So it's nice to see athletes come off the back of injury or illness and kind of get that together just in time for the British Swimming Championships.
Just looking 6 as well there, Samuel Greenbank of City of Sheffield. Samuel's brother Luke will be going in the big final in 2 finals time. Actually, 2 brothers making the finals of the British Championships in the 100 back, right in the centre there in 5. Matthew Ward, let's watch for him. He's really good. He's got a chance of making the qualification standard for the European Juniors at 55.8. So the white hat of Mount Kelly in lane number 5, Matt Ward, second fastest seed. He swam a lifetime best of 56.6 to qualify, so it's a big ask, but it's not impossible, and he started well in the white hat there.
Yeah, not impossible at all, and you want to get a good start in this 100 metres backstroke. Really kind of push through the first 50 metres of the race, and he's got lovely still head position, really nice technique, and yeah, this is actually a really, really close race coming into the first 50.
Nice and quick over the wall as well. He's got his feet over very well. Let's see his underwater phase, not bad at all either. Also going well is Mark Ford of City of Glasgow at the top there. But this is a good swim. Charlie Brown in the black cap maybe starting to take the lead now.
Yeah, he's coming through really well here. Trying to kind of go to those legs really when he needs them, increasing his stroke rate.
The power in his arms, I mean, he really looks good, Charlie Brown. This is a good swim. Let's hope he can drag Matthew Ward through to a good time from Mount Kelly. It looks like he's going to win it, he does. 55.75 is the time for Charlie Brown. And Matt Ward, well, he's just missed out on the European qualification standard, but another massive lifetime best. Another 0.4 of a second underneath the lifetime best he set in the heats this morning to go 56.2. Very, very good swimming from him.
Yeah, as we say, it's nice to see swimmers coming in the evening, stepping up again, improving on from what they've done in this morning. So there we have Charlie Brown from Loughborough, 55.7. Matthew Ward finished in second, 56.22. And Samuel Greenbank from Sheffield finishing third in 56.40.
Well, a great swim from young Sam. And of course, the Greenbank boys grew up in Cockermouth up in Cumbria, and Sean Bulmer done a super job, him and his team there. What a lovely squad they have. I've been up a couple of times, and I have to say, it amazes me every time what those guys do. It's a small pool, but they take such pride, everyone, the community takes such pride in that. And it's great to see what they keep on pumping out year after year after year. And able-bodied as well as Paralympians, quite tremendous. Big shout out to the guys in Cockermouth. So the B final of the men's 100 metres backstroke, Craig McNally is the fastest seed. I saw him swim a World Championship final in the 200 metres backstroke, and he very nearly beat Ryan Lochte.
Yeah, really good from him, Craig McNally. He's been around a long time, looking to make his 4th Commonwealth Games this summer, so his first in 2010. I thought I'd been hanging around a while, but he's been sort of up there with Scottish swim for a long time. So the qualification time for 3 of these boys, Martin Walton, Scott Gibson and Craig McNally for the Commonwealth Games is 54.50, so keep an eye out for that.
Well, that is a quick time, 54.5. Craig McNally's lifetime best is just faster than that, but season's best at 55.3. So he's got to improve by 0.8. Not impossible. The black hat in the centre, Craig McNally of Stirling. Just waiting for all the swimmers to be absolutely still, waiting for their feet to be planted on that ledge. The B final, swimmers 9 through 16th ranked after this morning's heats in this men's 100 metres backstroke final.
Yeah, a little bit of a long hold there. Some of the swimmers might have been put off a little bit, but it's one of those things that you've got to kind of just deal with it and get over. And if you can get up and into the start really quickly after a delay, it gives you a really good chance.
So lane 6 and 7 Scots, they're going for the qualification standard in this 100 backstroke. They both made the 50 backstroke time last night and over very quickly in 6 is one of those 2 men from the University of Edinburgh, Scott Gibson.
Yeah, he was our silver medalist last night in the 50 backstroke, so we knew he'd be out quick.
Jonathan Marshall of Furness Area Swim Team. European Junior consideration time, he beat in the heat, so let's see how he goes here. 55.45. Looks very good indeed. A long-rangey stroke. Coming back is very fast indeed. Is McNally in 4. Let's see what he's done. 55.03, just outside the qualification time set for the Scots on this 100 metres backstroke. But a great swim it was from Jonathan Marshall in 5. And I think, again, that's gone underneath the qualification time for the European Juniors to be considered for that time, for that competition. He set a lifetime best of 55.45 in the heats this morning, and he's just gone 55.1.
Really good swimming from him, and when you're from the swimming club fast, kind of bodes well when you're swimming really fast and good times. So Craig McNally might be slightly disappointed with that. I think he knows he's capable of doing that consideration time for the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, I imagine he'll be a little bit disappointed leaving that B final.
Well, he's better at 200, isn't he? So we'll have to see. I'm not quite sure how his stamina is at the moment. It's a tough event, the 200 metres backstroke, particularly if you're not fit. I'm certainly not saying he's not, but it certainly is a tough event. So let's hope he's got something in the tank for that. So now we have the finalists coming out for the men's A final of the 100 metres backstroke, and Luke Greenbank in lane 8, Britain's Olympic bronze medalist on the 200 backstroke, and what a swim that was, utterly brilliant.
Yeah, last year at the Olympics, it was really nice to see him get the bronze. He won the bronze the year before at the World Championships, so it's nice when a swimmer who's also a really nice person, trains really hard, as we said, come from Cockermouth, that puts in that hard work. Normally last out of the pool of the Loughborough swimmers, so he's always sort of finishing up on his own. And obviously Luke's pre-qualified for the World Championships, so hence probably why he's in an outside lane. Usually we'd have seen him smack bang in the middle, so the race could come from any one of these lanes tonight.
The other exciting thing for these guys is that there's, of course, spots available for that medley relay, the lead-off. Jonathan Adam of Bath National Centre. He goes in lane 6, the 4th fastest seed for this A final. And then you've got Cam Brooker, also of the Bath National Centre, in lane number 3. And then Joe Litchfield and Brodie Williams, 2 fabulous Olympians for Great Britain. Litchfield, so versatile.
Yeah, he is such a phenomenal swimmer. His underwater work's really good. Him and Brodie Williams swim a multitude of events, so between them they probably cover quite a lot of the programme. So it's good to see both of these 2 athletes in the centre lanes tonight, and I'm sure it'll be a really close race between them. They're not going to let one to let the other one win. That kind of Bath-Loughborough rivalry is always a funny one. So yeah, both boys here will be looking to boast some really quick times, because that world's consideration time is very fast.
Well, the time for the Welsh Commonwealth Games qualification is 54.51, and I think there's at least one Welshman in this race.
Lane 2, Joe Small is a Welsh swimmer, so he'll be looking to get close to that.
54.51, he's going to have to go a lifetime best to do it, but season's best of 54.9, and this is the time to do it, the British National Championship final of the men's 100 metres backstroke. And their fastest seed there, Brodie Williams. Again, really versatile, great medley swimmer, great backstroke swimmer. Lifetime best 54.2, the fastest lifetime best right at the top. Luke Greenbank, swimming for Cockermouth. PB 53.3. Of course, was the lead-off swimmer at the Olympic Games for that men's 4x100 medley relay that won silver. And he started well, but this will be fascinating.
Yeah, Joe Litchfield had a really good start there. We knew that would be the case.
So in 6 at the moment, Jonathan Adam of Bath looking good, also going very well. He's blasting down this first 50 metres, Luke Greenbank, the 200 metres specialist, and he's going to be, what, second to turn maybe? A little bit slow around Brodie Williams, or equal second actually with Brodie Williams was Luke Greenbank. Has he gone out too quick, Greenbank at the top?
I think he's be all right. He's one of the strongest swimmers in the pool. His 200 backstroke, as we said, is his strength. So his 100 is just really sharp and worked on in the last couple of years.
Well, it really will be impressive. He is coming back at the top there, Greenbank. He's a great 200er, but when you're not rested, it's really hard to go out fast and then come back, and he's got it. Wow, what a swim that was. Luke Greenbank, 54.56 gets the touch. Brodie Williams, second, 12/100ths of a second behind. And then third, Jonathan Adam of Bath, 54.75. It was close, but Greenbank wins it.
Yeah, we knew that race could come from anywhere. You can't ever count Luke out, I suppose, no matter what lane you're in. Outside lane, middle lane, if you've got in a lane, really, at that old saying, you've got a chance. And Luke knew what he had to do, the race he had to put together. He went out really quick, got a really good turn, and obviously using his 200 capacity, finished really, really well. It was close between him and Brodie in the end, probably a little bit closer than I thought, with 0.1 just splitting those two. So him and Brodie there having a really, really good swims.
And here he is with his Olympic rings on his arm, the British Olympic bronze medalist in the 200 metres backstroke, not rested here, so that was a pretty impressive swim to win the British national title on the 100 metres backstroke, the lead-off leg of our men's 4x100 medley relay, and of course they win medals at all the majors, and there's still going to be big spots available. Everyone's going to be wanting to get that. Let's see what he has to say with John Mason.
Well, Luke, from the outside lane, crushing it, British champion. A little bit better this morning. You've got to be happy with that one.
Yeah, if I'm completely honest, I was very lucky to be in that final. But I was just a bit messy this morning. Knew I had more in there. And yeah, just executed the race plan a lot better tonight. Obviously a very close race. And yeah, very pleased with that.
Mate, as you should be. Coming off the back of a very busy Olympic cycle, a 5-year cycle, why was that? You know, you had a bit of downtime as this obviously just ramping back up in the pool.
Sorry, what was that?
You just ramping back up in the pool after a bit of downtime?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a busy year already, to be honest. Olympics, straight to ISL, and then heavy block of training. I was ill a few weeks ago, so it's been quite disrupted, but yeah, coming into here and seeing how fast I can swim at this time of year, really good.
Yeah, I mean, the last cycle, you know, you had an amazing one. I think we really sort of watched you come into your own as an athlete, really make waves on the world stage. What's next for you? What are you looking to progress on and achieve?
For me, I'm just always looking to improve. I mean, last year was absolutely amazing, getting an Olympic medal, 2 Olympic medals. Incredible feeling, but yeah, I think I want to build on my times, my training, my race practice all this year, and then the big focus is obviously Paris.
Exactly. Well, I really look forward to seeing what you do over the next couple of years, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up. Your new British champion, Luke Greenbank. Well done, mate.
Cheers.
Well done.
Oh, it's a relief.
And he just gets better and better, doesn't he? He's in fabulous shape and he's not even rested. He's got another couple of months before the Commonwealth Games, the World Championships coming up, of course, where he's pre-selected. What can he go there? It's going to be a really interesting year. It's going to be a funny year, isn't it? The reset year after the Olympics is a funny year.
Yeah, definitely, and it's really interesting that he said that his swim this morning was just a bit messy. When you haven't raced long course an awful lot, sometimes those things just don't really fall into place, but it just stresses how important your race plan is and your race process, and he mentioned it a couple of times, and he's looking to just improve and improve every year, every time he gets in the pool, and he somehow went away, looked at that race this morning, worked on what he knew he needed to correct for tonight, and he's come back in and gave us a really good performance and won from lane 8.
Well, he swam well, but we're now straight into the final race of this evening's session. It is the women's 200 metres breaststroke. I'm really looking forward to the final. I just love watching Abby Wood's breaststroke, the technique of her breaststroke in the big final. That's in 4 finals to come. But this, the junior final, we've got Evie Float of Plymouth Leander. She's the fastest seed in lane number 4. And Evie's qualification time 2:39.0. So we'll have to see if she can get underneath that. Her season's best is 2:37.7, so she can go a little bit fast. I think is a little bit comfortable in this morning's heats. So Evie in 4. In 5, it's Georgia Manx of City of Cambridge, second fastest seed.
Yeah, some of these girls will be looking to improve on this morning. To be in this junior final is a really good opportunity for them. City of Leeds are in lane 2. He has started really well. Coming into this first turn, you want to set yourself up with that nice, easy, comfortable speed on the first 50 to really be able to build through your second, third and fourth. And breaststroke is really important, not to be too scrappy, not to kind of overrate and over-rev, as we like to call it, really get into that nice streamlined position at the front. So as you squeeze your heels together, you're maximising the drive on each kick. And we see a lot of the athletes here in the pool doing that, and it looks really nice and long and controlled.
And she does look good. And I think if you stuck her in a wind tunnel sort of thing, and whatever that would be called, a flume or something, and watch the ripples going forward, hardly anything sticks out of the tube, does it? She seems to be almost swimming in a tube.
Yeah, all her momentum is going forwards because she's not creating massive amounts of drag. Her elbows are tucking in nice and sort of tight underneath her arm. Her kick is a little bit wide at the top, but she gets it round really quick and almost whips together at the end. So she's not got a massive dead spot. There's a little wave you can see coming off her hips and her bum, which just shows every time she's popping up and driving forwards. And that's what we want to see in breaststroke swimming. Everything always wants to be driving in the right direction in the distance that you're traveling.
Well, it is a beautiful stroke, and Leah Schlossen of City of Leeds, they're having a great meet, I have to say. And she's already swum the 400 medley here, and she did qualify for the European Juniors last night. So she's already, qualified. She's done a time that will be considered. It's underneath the consideration time, but I can't believe they're not going to select her. In history, there's very, very few swimmers who've done the time and not been selected, and she looks really good here.
Yeah, she's coming down this last length, picking up that rate a little bit, trying to hold the water here. It's nice when you can see an athlete have a little bit of a gear to change to coming into the finish.
So Schlossen leading for the City of Leeds. Sophie Brassington from Mount Kelly in second at the moment. A big scrap there for second and third, because coming back at her is Evie Float in lane number 4 from Plymouth Leander. But the winner, 2:35.01, is Leah Schlossen of the City of Leeds, and that's a very good swim indeed.
Yeah, nice PB and season's best, so she should be really chuffed with that. When you can come to a competition at this standard, obviously some of these juniors have not competed before at a British Championship, some haven't even competed at a national championships. It's nice when they can come here, not let the occasion swallow them up and perform really well, and a 2-second PB is a great outcome for her there.
So Leah Schlossen qualifying for the doing a time. I need to keep on stopping saying she's qualified. She's done a time. She's beaten a time that is a consideration time for the European Junior Championships. She's going to go. Come on. I know she will do, but a great swim to win the junior final, 2:35.0. Float second, Brassington third for Mount Kelly. Fourth was Collier from Swansea. Some good swimming there from the juniors. More juniors, though, in this next Priority Paris final of this women's 200 metres breaststroke.
Yeah, the junior time's actually quite fast for these girls to be considered, so their time they have to do is 2:31.05. So it's a pretty quick time to be asking, and we'll see a couple more juniors come through, and that's the time that they're looking to really get close to.
So 3 more finals left this evening on the second night of finals at the British Championships, second of six days of competition. And the women's 200 metres breaststroke Priority Paris final for swimmers born 2001 and younger. And 7 swimmers in it. The fastest seed, Ailsa MacDonald of Edinburgh University. What a fantastic Scottish name that is, Ailsa MacDonald.
Yeah, sounds strong.
Certainly does. Four-legs breaststroke, MacDonald in 4, O'Reilly in 5, and at File in 3, the Priority Paris final. And a great idea to add this final, the Priority Paris final. It just gives swimmers another opportunity to come into the evening and swim in the final, under the pressure, under the lights, under the television lights, to watch the really big guys swimming.
Yeah. In this race, we've also got to keep an eye out lane 7, born in 2008, which means she's perfect age to qualify for the European Youth Olympic Festival. So they take 8 boys and 8 girls, often from the 200-metre events. So if she can post a quick time here and finish, she will probably finish the fastest in her age group, then she gives herself a really good chance of being on that team in the summer.
They're actually, interestingly, for that competition, they're not selecting off 50s, which they tend not to do anyway, but they're not selecting the team as a priority off the 100 metres swims. They're really only doing it off the 200 metres of the stroke and the 400 medley. Interesting.
I feel, I'm pretty sure that was the same when I was a bit younger. I think at a young age, you don't want to kind of pick an event that's too short. You want to be thinking about, well, if I can do breaststroke, can I do the 200? Because I can always fall back on the 100 if I'm not quite strong enough or not quite fast enough as I get older. So I personally think it's a really good thing to kind of push the junior swimmers and age groupers towards the longer events rather than not taking the easy option, but they can qualify for the Youth Olympics over the 200, so why not give that a really good go?
Well, it is a good idea, and it's certainly working for British swimming at the moment. Encouraging the distance events. The natural speed comes later, but certainly if you can get the endurance under your belt early on as an age grouper, then you can always move down, but it's very hard once you've got the speed to then move back up into the distance events. And Emma Alat-Fayol of Guildford City, first to turn at the 100, and she's looking good, but right in the centre, all three of those women looking very good indeed. In 3, first to turn it is Alat-Fayol, then Ailsa McDonald, and then Caris O'Reilly.
Yeah, all three of these girls, it's hard to split the difference, so it'll be who can really build that stroke now, gain a little bit more momentum, work towards the wall, kind of fight the pain and the burn that's starting to kick in as the legs and the glutes really start firing.
And fascinating, the black hat in the centre there of Ailsa McDonald. She's still gliding a long way on every stroke. Beautiful stroke.
Yeah, it's really important that just because you're trying to swim faster, you don't slip water and you're not scrapping.
Well, it really is getting tight down this last 10. It's going to be all on the touch. Ailsa McDonald of University of Edinburgh still ahead going into the final touch. She gets it, she does. Ailsa McDonald wins it, 2:35.39. Second was Emma Alat-Fayol of Guildford. And third, Caris O'Reilly of City of Leicester.
Yeah, really well-paced swim from her, kind of coming through at the right time. I thought maybe she was going to be a little bit short on the wall, and I was hoping that she didn't get pipped out by those other girls, but a 2-second drop for her from this morning to come back and swim well in the finals tonight.
It's the way to go. It certainly is, and they'll learn so much, not only from their watching the big guys, but also getting in there and practicing their race preparation and their race plan. And Ailsa McDonald doing really well. Edinburgh University wins the Priority Paris final, 2:35.3. Alat-Fayol second, O'Reilly third, Miles in fourth. So the final 2 finals of this second night of the British Championships for 2022. And it is the B final of the women's 200 metres breaststroke. And there's only 7 swimmers in it. I think, unfortunately, one of the swimmers was taken ill earlier on, so has had to withdraw. But this really is going to be an interesting one. Sophie King in 1, Dennis in 2, Hall in 3, Lansom in 4 for Manchester. 5 is Lara Thompson of Leeds. Aren't Leeds having a great meet here?
Yeah, they've got some really good junior swimmers, and when you're part of a programme and everyone else around you swimming well, you want to be part of that, and you just use that momentum to your advantage, and hopefully you get in and you emulate what your teammates are doing.
Well, Lara Thompson in 5 is of age to go to the European Juniors again. And 2:34.62 is the lifetime best. She's set to qualify for this final. Second fastest seed in this B final. But the qualification standard for the juniors is 2:31. That's a massive ask. Lansom also a junior in 4.
Sophie King in lane 1 is also a junior swimmer, so the 3 of those girls looking to get as close or as far under that 2:31 barrier. And if they can do that, they'll have all swam a PB in here this evening.
Well, a very even start indeed down this first 25 metres. Tactics on 200 metres breast. Did you do many 200 breaststrokes?
I did a few 200 metres breaststrokes. When I was younger, I was actually quite a strong breaststroke swimmer. Lost it for a little bit and then kind of picked it up again towards the sort of last few years of my 400 medley career. So I was 12-year-old age group gold medalist at the British Nationals in the summer over 200 breaststroke. And at the time, there was a lead swimmer who we were always fighting between. So they've, as I said, had history of having really good junior swimmers. So for me in a 200 breaststroke, the first 50, you need to get into that rhythm, stay nice and controlled, not overrate too early. You just want to really think about keeping it nice and long and building through the second length for you to turn, really to sort of take a chunk out of the rest of the field on the third 50, and then you just hold all that water you can. Keep your head nice and still and drive forwards and not thinking about going up and down, up and down.
A really good first 100 metres there from Beth Dennis of the city of Sheffield. The teammates all around us here, they are loud and great supporters. Wonderful to see the crowd here. And she's going well, Beth Dennis, the black cap closest to us. Starting to go with her, though, is Maya Hall of Stockton. One lane up in that silver hat of Stockton. Also going well up in lane number 6 is Anna Morgan of Edinburgh.
Yeah, these two girls really trying to take a little bit out of the rest of the field, increasing their stroke rate slightly as they're getting tired, slipping maybe a tiny bit of water in the black hat in lane 2. So you really want to be holding as much as you can so that down the last length you've got all that energy and all that water to keep hold of.
So the last length of this, the B final of the women's 200 metres breaststroke. And it looks like still leading at the moment is Beth Dennis of the city of Sheffield, but now the charge comes from Maya Hall of Stockton and the silver hat. She's looking good, she's charging.
Yeah, it's really nice to see these athletes. It's getting really tight now, so it'll almost be who's got that little extra oomph to get them through the last 15 metres of the race.
Well, look at this, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, all in this race, and they are really charging. It looks like 4, a final 50 from Caitlin Lansom, really fast. Did she leave it too late? She looked like she had plenty left there. I think she can go even quicker than that 2:30, 2:34 that she's just gone. A new lifetime best for her.
Yeah, another sort of 2-second PB, still just outside that European Junior qualification time. But I think when you're swimming a PB, no matter how big it is, you can't really ask for anything more. So on the day you always think, oh, what if I could have done this better? What if I could have done that? But to come to a British Championship, swim a PB in the B final as a junior swimmer is definitely nothing to kind of be ashamed of.
Well, it certainly isn't, and Caitlin Lansom swam a really good race, and I would imagine she'll sit down with the coach after this and they'll go, well done, fantastic swim, mum and dad as well, lifetime best, all her teammates, that's fantastic. Now, how can you go even better next time? Because there's a couple of areas there where I think she is a great prospect with a swim like that, isn't she?
Yeah, she had a really lovely stroke as well. Technically was very consistent right up to the end, and she had the ability to really kind of turn it on in the last 50 metres of the race. So if she can come back that fast, maybe she can go out a little bit harder at the beginning.
Well, it's all about trying to find the perfect tactics and the perfect pacing to deliver your best self in the pool, and that was a very, very good swim indeed. So here we go, Charlotte Bianchi of City of Sheffield. She's a junior, she can do the time, and we'll be watching very carefully because I think she would be looking at certainly delivering a European junior consideration time in this final, the big final, the A final, the women's 200 metres breaststroke. Next to her is Yvonne Brown of Aberdeen Performance. Just missed Katie Robertson of the University of Edinburgh. She goes in lane 8. And next to Katie is Molly Monk. It's Kiara Fletcher, I think, actually, that's in lane 6. Molly Monk in 7 and Kiara Fletcher of Nova in 6. And then the fast guys in the centre. She's good as Chikara Hanlon.
Yeah, she's been swimming really well, represents Scotland at Commonwealth Games. She had a really good 50. We've seen her have a really good heat swim this morning, so she'll be looking to get as close to her PB as she can, and even a season's best of 2:29.11 is quicker than what she went this morning.
There is Lily Booker of Loughborough National Centre, coached by Dave Hemmings. Teammates with the fastest seeds, so 1 and 2, the fastest 2 seeds in this final of the women's 200 breaststroke. Abby Wood in 4, Lily Booker in 5. And Molly Renshaw, not even here. She qualified, pre-selected for the World Championship team, so doesn't need to be here. She can rest and make sure that she really is focusing on delivering her best self later on this year, later in the summer at the World Championships, Commonwealths and Europeans.
Yeah, she's one of the athletes that came off the back of Tokyo, went to the ISL, and then realised I probably needed a little bit of a longer break. So yeah, she chose not to be here at the British Championships.
I'd love to be told to take a longer break. Wouldn't that be nice?
Sometimes you really need it.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. I mean, such a long period, a 5-year cycle, 4 years normally for the Olympics, a 5-year cycle this time. Abby Wood in the centre, closest to us in that black hat and that black suit, with the Union Jack on the back of her suit. 4th in the 200 IM at the Olympics, 7th on this 200 breaststroke. 2 individual finals. What a swimmer. I love watching her breaststroke. Amy, you can describe it for us, but such a long, such a rangy, such a beautiful, efficient stroke.
Yeah, she's just really smooth, and from the get-go, you see her dive there. She's in really tight, streamlined position underwater, holds that a little bit longer than some of the athletes around her, so that the underwater pull and the breakout is nice and tight. And she comes up, uses that really efficient underwater to get into a lovely rhythm. And down this first 50, she looks nice and controlled, really long at the front of her stroke.
So Abby Wood first to turn, going with her in lane number 3. It is Cara Hanlon of University of Edinburgh. And at the moment in 5, Lily Booker just taking her time, just making sure that she's on the hip of Abby Wood. Would probably like to stay on the hip of Abby Wood, certainly down to the first turn, see how long she can hold on, because Abby's a fantastic second half 200 metres breaststroke swimmer.
Yeah, she'll really wind it up coming off this 100-metre mark. She knows she's got a lot of capacity. We see her swim 200 freestyle. She's been junior champion in the 400 individual medley. So she's got the ability and the capacity to finish races really well. So if you're going to try and keep up with her, you want to try and hang with her as long as possible. And already off that wall, we see her trying to make her move.
Well, Abby does look good, and she swam the ISL. She swam so many races and just learned how to get back in the water again, and perform to your best. And she was breaking British records left and right. I mean, it was really impressive to see how it's just a machine gun approach to racing and performing at her best.
Yeah, she used that ISL season to her advantage. She, unfortunately, off the back of that, was a little bit ill, caught glandular fever, but she's recovered from that. She's taken the time that her body needs, and she's on really good form here, and you wouldn't really think there'd have been anything wrong with her this season.
And look at this, starting to swim away for some great breaststrokers. Abby Wood in the centre. Cara Hanlon 1 lane closer to us from the University of Edinburgh. 1 lane up is Lily Booker. And Booker now starting to challenge for the silver medal in this, the final, the A final of the women's 200 metres breaststroke on the second night of the British Championships. And what a masterclass from the English woman. Abby Wood, Olympic finalist in this 200 metres breaststroke. 4th in the 200 medley, 7th in the Olympics in the 200 breaststroke. And she is the British champion, 2:24.28. What a swim. Booker just gets the silver from Hanlon in bronze. And Charlotte Bianchi down there in lane 1 was 5th, I think. Her time 2:32.06, just outside the junior qualification time.
Yeah, a little bit of a shame for her just to miss that. She's won a really good race there, but the winner of that is Abby Wood, just outside the automatic consideration time for the 200 breaststroke for the World Championships. But as we said, she's pre-selected for the 200 individual medley, and with her winning that event and being so dominant, I'm sure we'll see her representing Great Britain in the 200 breaststroke as well this summer alongside Molly.
Well, I do love watching her swim. It's a real masterclass, and if you can record that and then play it back, and I'm sure a lot of swimming clubs will do that, because female breaststroke swimming in Great Britain with Molly Renshaw, and well, there's the spare seat behind lane number 3. But Molly Renshaw winning the British title in the women's 200 metres breaststroke in fine form, adding that title to the 200 metres freestyle that she won last night. And John Mason now talking to the new British champion.
Well, back again, Abby. No surprise, Olympic finalist in this event. I know you could have been happier with the time, but amazing to get that medal. British champion once again.
Yeah, I definitely can't be too annoyed. I'm just trying to get my race process when I'm out on my own, and without like Molly pushing me on like I'm really used to when I was last year. So it's just kind of trying to figure out my own race plan and just keep building from there, from each competition for the rest of the season.
Of course, and you know, you say Molly wasn't in there pushing you on. How hard is a race like that when you're out there on your own? And how does it change when you're making those decisions in the moment?
I think I could critique myself far too much in the race, and I feel like when I'm in a race like the 200 free last night, I just get carried away with the race, and that's when I find my best flow. So when I'm on my own, I definitely could critique every single stroke and probably tear myself apart of it, but it's just part of learning, especially in this event.
Of Of course, and you know, we saw you do amazing things last year. I think this cycle's going to be exactly the same. I know it's a busy program for you for the rest of the week. 3 more races, right?
Yeah, just got to get used to a busy program.
Yeah.
So.
How's the body feeling? Okay?
Hurting a bit. Got a day off tomorrow, so that's nice.
That's nice. Well, look, I'll let you get off. We've got to get you to ceremonies, have some food, have a sleep, and we'll see you back in a couple of days. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Abby Wood.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely swim there from Abby, and it's really good to hear her talk about sort of how she's not used to swimming that race potentially on her own. She sometimes uses Molly a little bit too much, and she's realised, well, if I'm out there on my own at these events, I've got to learn how to swim that race my way and not really focus on anybody else. So it's good to see her still learning. She's obviously, we see her as an established British swimmer, 4th at the Olympics, but for her to sit there and say she's still learning about racing, it's really good to see, because all the time you want to be thinking about improving and getting better and better so you can compete with the best on the world stage.
And she was talking about best flow as well, and a lovely way to describe how she actually swims the breaststroke, isn't it?
Yeah, she's so smooth, and it does flow every length, every stroke. Her underwater phase, there's no kind of aggressive parts to it, and it just shows that when you can get into that nice flow and that nice rhythm, especially in breaststroke swimming, it just feels good, and you can connect a lot more with the water, and you're not slipping, you're not scrappy, and you then produce some of your best times because you're just in control of every stroke and you're in control of the race.
And also fascinating to hear her talking about Molly Renshaw, because I hadn't really thought about it. She probably has swum every single 200 breaststroke major race that she's done at British Nationals or on the world circuit with Molly in the same race. And she normally tries to go with Molly. So with Molly not there, fascinating.
Yeah, really good to see her, as we say, talking about that. And normally she ends up right next to Molly. So for her to be in the same category across the other side of the world and be in the lane next to her, she really does rely on Molly quite a lot. So it's good to see her learning a bit more about her own race.
Well, she's certainly done that. And the national champion on the 200 free last night. Now the national champion on the 200 breaststroke. Highly unusual for breaststrokers to be great freestylers, but she certainly is. And here, the medal ceremony for the men's 200 metres butterfly. The bronze gone to Jay Lelliott of City of Sheffield, and the silver to Mason Wilby of Loughborough University. And the gold, Great Britain's double Olympic gold medalist, James Guy from the Bath National Centre. And a really gutsy way of doing it. It must have hurt so badly because he was out quick, tried to hang on, just missed that automatic qualification time.
Yeah, we heard him talk about that earlier. He said it hurt probably a little bit more than he would have liked, but he had to put himself out there and he had to give himself the best chance. And to do that, he had to go out probably a bit faster than he either may have wanted to, or it just hurt more than he was expecting it to.
Well, he's a tough man. He does seem to enjoy the tough events, doesn't he? And, well, when you stick him in a relay, I would love to have swum on a relay with him, because you just know he's going to produce an outstanding swim, better than you could even dream of. His 100 fly split on that mixed medley relay, 50.0, only 2 swimmers ever faster, Caleb Dressel and Michael Phelps. Here's the medal ceremony for the women's 100 metres backstroke, and Kathleen Dawson, well, a bronze medal for her, and she won't be surprised. She's in a decent position at the moment. She's got a lot of work to do to get ready and deliver herself on the world stage at the World Championships, the Commonwealth Games and the Europeans. She's got plenty of time to do it, though, and I'm sure she'll be right back there fairly shortly. The silver to Lauren Cox, but the gold, a really good swim from Maddie Harris.
Yeah, we were really impressed with this. The last 12 months, she's obviously gone away, used that inspiration which she mentioned that she got from Kathleen and watching Cassie at the Olympics this summer. So she's got her head down. She's really worked on some of those things that she probably had highlighted. And the last 12 months for her have been really, really, really good. And she showed that form superbly today, held her own, and obviously beat an Olympic gold medalist.
And of course, there are some discretionary selections for the World Championship team and the Europeans team. I wonder if they'll be looking at her for one of those, because she's come on so quickly. The potential is massive. Didn't quite make that 59.0 consideration time, but it was a very, very good swim.
No, definitely, and depending what way you swim the mixed 4x1, whether you have 2 men, 2 women, you need a reserve for all those 4 strokes, and we saw Kathleen do that last summer, so if Medi's the reserve for that, she may get the chance to swim in a heat, and wouldn't that be another amazing experience for her if she's part of the world's team or Europeans team this summer?
Well, I'm sure we'll see Brodie Williams here picking up his silver medal on this men's 100 metres backstroke. I'm sure we'll see him at the Commonwealth Games as well, the British Olympian. So the bronze to Jonathan Adams, silver to Brodie Williams, and Great Britain's Olympic bronze medalist on the 200 backstroke, silver medalist on that men's 4x1 medley relay, Luke Greenbank of Cockermouth winning the gold, the national champion on the men's 100 backstroke.
Yeah, you never write Luke off, even though he was in an outside lane. He had a really good swim tonight. He said he'd sorted his processes out from this morning, things he got wrong, corrected those, and swam a really good race tonight and pipped everybody just from lane 8.
He's a toughie. He always seems to get sick close to the meet, recovers, and then swims remarkably well.
Yeah, it's not what you want to be ill just before a major champs, but for him, he's, by the sounds of it, he's good at being able to back that up. Some of the boys weren't at the Edinburgh International meet because of that, so he's obviously had to withdraw, rest up a bit more, but it almost kind of hasn't affected him too much because he has swam so well here.
Well, that was Luke Greenbank here. Lily Booker getting the silver medal on the women's 200 metres breaststroke, the final of this evening's session. The bronze going to Cara Hanlon of University of Edinburgh. And Abby Wood, her second gold. It's only the second night of finals at this British Championship for 2022. She won the 200 metres freestyle last night, and now she wins the 200 breaststroke. Abby Wood from Loughborough National Centre. And her coach, Dave Hemmings, well, what a great job he's done with his whole team. And he's got some fabulous breaststrokers in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's a really nice programme and, group of athletes there. Joe Litchfield, Max Litchfield, Abby, Molly. So there's a nice little group of those guys that really push each other and work hard. And you can't forget James Wilby, who's also in there. So lovely group of athletes that work together and really push each other on a daily basis.
Well, that's the end of day 2. It's been a fabulous evening. Adam Peaty, as expected, won 2 gold medals on the first 2 days, and the 100 metres and the 50, both fantastic times, but there's been an awful lot of other wonderful swims. 4 nights still to go. You enjoying it, Amy?
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to be on the other side and watching the swimming rather than missing out on a lot of it because I'm in there myself.
Well, it's a pleasure working with you. It certainly is. That's the end of night 2. We've got 4 more nights to go. Join us tomorrow morning. Looking forward to the next session, day 3 of heats tomorrow morning. So it's goodbye from me, Andy Jameson.
And good night from Amy Wilmot.
Good night.